वाला है एंड असेंशन में अपनी जगह भी पक्की करेगा। एंड रिमेंबर द $100,000 प्राइज मनी, उसमें $35,000 किसको मिलेंगे ये हमें कल पता चलेगा। बट टुडे वी हैव टू क्रॉस दिस स्टेप, वी हैव टू क्रॉस दिस हर्डल एंड वी गॉट टू टीम्स। एक कल एक्शन में थी तो उसको बुलाते हैं सबसे पहले। दे डिड गो डाउन टू ओरंगुटान बट दे स्टिल हैव गॉट देयर होप्स up high. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Aster Army. And here they come. They had an off day yesterday against Orangutan. थोड़े weaknesses भी ऐसा लगा कि शायद इन्होंने परख लिए हैं but उसको वो exploit नहीं कर पाए। लेकिन ये final opportunity. This is the final dance. If you don't make it count, then you go home. And they are very well aware. मर्जल ने बहुत कमाल तरीके से इस टीम को लीड किया है, लेकिन आज ज़्यादा प्रेशर में how is he going to fare, उस पे सबकी निगाहें रहेंगी। Here is Aster Army. इनके कोच भी इनके साथ जुड़ेंगे अभी स्टेज पे। And remember, आज जो जीतेगा उसका ग्रैंड फिनाले में मुकाबला होगा Orangutan से। There comes Vanderlag. Good to have you, bro. Good to have you. All right, who are they taking on? Ladies and gentlemen, इनके बारे में बहुत सारे लोगों का कहना था they are not favorites, they don't see them here, but that's the whole point of Valorant Challengers South Asia, that यहाँ पे आप अपनी कहानी खुद लिखते हैं। This is Reckoning. इससे बेटर अंडरडॉग स्टोरी आपको नहीं मिलेगी। पिछले मुकाबले में गॉड्स रेन के सामने some of their key performers came to the party. आप बात करें इनकी, Voya, what a performance from him in that game against God Rain. लेकिन आज जरूरी होगा to make sure that they keep that momentum. हर्ष इनके IGL हमेशा शांत रहते हैं, but put him in the game and he shows you what he's truly made of. And then comes Flavin. Flavin के साथ में इस टीम को पूरा करते हैं ये, and आज देखना होगा what kind of Flavin we actually see in the game. Who turns up the one with all that momentum? But you got a surprise. I promised you there was a surprise, and it is coming from Reckoning. I am vengeance. I am Batman. There comes the coach. Well, he's not got his favorite bottle alongside him. Right, thank you, gentlemen. Now let's bring on the captains, the IGLs down to the middle. So Marzil, Harsh, time for some chit-chat, some conversations. Okay. यार सबसे पहले हर्ष, congratulations. 60 दिन तुम खेलते रहे एंड जब लोगों ने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया, तुमने अपनी कहानी जो है वो खुद लिखी है. यू आर इन द टॉप 3, सो कंग्रेचुलेशंस ऑन दैट. जब शुरुआत हुई थी इस जर्नी की, डिड यू थिंक दैट यू रीच हियर?
ऑब्वियसली हम लोग स्प्लिट 1 का जो रिजल्ट था, हम लोग खुश नहीं थे उससे. हम लोगों को पता है कि हम लोग क्या डिजर्व करते. तो लाइक हमने बहुत इंप्रूव किया एज ए स्प्लिट 1 से स्प्लिट 2 में आने के लिए. टीम भी चेंज हुआ, इंडिविजुअल प्लेयर्स का भी लाइक मेंटालिटी भी चेंज हुआ, इसलिए हम लोग इधर हैं आज.
मर्जिल, एस्टर आर्मी दी मोस्ट इम्प्रूव टीम, अगर आप स्प्लिट 1 से स्प्लिट 2 के प्लेऑफ्स की ये जर्नी जो है वो देखें, एंड आज पेनल्टीमेट दिन है. ये जो जर्नी तुम लोगों की रही है, हाउ डू यू लुक बैक एट इट?
Honestly, since I've only been there from Split 2, I've seen though what we've accomplished in Split 1, and I'm really happy with the progress that we've made and with the preparation that we have. So if we've come out with the better preparation than them, then we will win. Otherwise, as always, may the best team win.
हर्ष, कल ये लोग एक्शन में थे ओरंगुटान के खिलाफ और काफ़ी अच्छे लग रहे थे. आई मीन तुमने सब कुछ परखा है, तुमने भापा है कि इनकी वीकनेसेस क्या हैं.
मैं पहले भी सेम बोलते आया हूँ, आफ्टर प्लेऑफ्स जब भी हम लोग गॉडसन के सामने हारे थे उसके बाद से हम लोग ने मेंटालिटी पूरा चेंज कर दिया. सामने वाले कुछ भी करे हम लोग को फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, हम लोग हमारे गेम पे फोकस करेंगे बस.
You guys were looking so good yesterday against Orangutan. Yes, you went down in those 2 maps, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे weaknesses दिखे. Unfortunately, तुम उसे exploit नहीं कर पाए.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial part with our early round and mid rounding was good, but we weren't able to close out the rounds. A lot of times that we threw the advantages that we had. So I think that just comes down to our mentality and how nervous we were, how excited we were. So I hope that that has reduced a bit after playing against a team that has been on the top. So I think today we're a bit calmer, and hopefully we can do a lot better.
Arjun, your time with Lethal wasn't the greatest. लेकिन जब से तुम Aster Army आए, things did look up for them. Things have looked up for you. ये जो तुम्हारा सफर individually रहा है निजी तौर पे, वो कैसा रहा है?
Of course, there have been ups and downs in any player's career. For the longest time, I felt very lost. There were times when I would doubt myself as well, whenever I was in a previous team, whether it was because of me, whether I'm good enough or not. But with this team, I have regained my confidence about what my capabilities are. And I also have newfound belief and trust in teammates that I did not have as much before.
Wow. वंडरफुल. ये जो दो हमारे IGLs हैं, ये दोनों सबसे कल्चर्ड, सबसे शांत स्वभाव के हैं. सो इसलिए I'm not going to ask them for any shots to fire at each other. क्या लगता है सबसे बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ क्या है एस्टर की?
भाई उनका प्ले स्टाइल थोड़ा डिफरेंट है बाकी सब टीम से, तो वही उनका स्ट्रेंथ है.
और तुम्हारे लिए इनका सबसे बड़ा स्ट्रेंथ?
I think when they have to set the pace, fast pace, they're very good at fast rushes and setting the pace at a really high tempo.
दूसरे की स्ट्रेंथ को आज क्या वीकनेस में तब्दील कर पाएंगे? That's the big question. Thank you boys, thank you so much. Go join your teammates. Remember, Orangutan इस मैच को देख रहा है बहुत ध्यान से. Back to you, Fritz, Krat and Johnny.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we're back on the business. As you guys do see Bruce Wayne. Actually, you know what? That's not Bruce Wayne. That's Bruce Wine. So yeah, we see Bruce Wine in front of us. Personally, I just love that cosplay. It's amazing. And considering he's also the coach of the team, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense too. But it's actually quite concerning to me, considering weren't they like on the Marvel side, at least the player, and now that he's on the DC. So yeah, a lot of questions for me personally, but yeah, we're gonna move on forward to the map video soon enough, and that's where a lot of questions are gonna be answered too. As we all know, we're currently inside the lower bracket finals, and this is where the elimination brackets will also end, and we will see a final elimination from the entire VCSA Split 2 playoffs. I'm quite excited for this matchup, and as we also had a conversation about how good these two teams are on their defensive side, definitely that will be their strong suit as well. But as people believe, best defense is the best offense. That's what we're here to find out, which team will be able to strike him down on both the sides. Map Vito will be a massive icebreaker inside the matchup. As Marzul said yesterday, they were definitely feeling a lot of nerves, but today they're way calmer than they were yesterday. So I'm expecting a much more close matchup against Revenant Esports. And he also mentioned inside the interview, they gave away quite a lot of advantages to the opponents, and especially they were not really able to close out the rounds, and that's where things went sort of south for them. We saw so many individual plays, individual clutches from OG yesterday too, and I guess that's one of those things that can really break a team's mental, but hopefully Aster Army today are able to bring themselves back inside the game with their mental completely intact and looking good as ever before. Now we're just waiting for the map video to be revealed in front of us. And as we are going to talk about that, it is what's going to happen. Revenant Esports will be going for the first ban, and then Aster Army will follow it up. But what I'm here to find out is, are we going to be seeing some off-map pickups? If we are, that's going to be something that might just put a spanner in the works for both these teams. If Aster Army is able to bring something new on the board, that can definitely be quite good. But Aster Army will go ahead and ban out the map of Lotus, which Revenant Esports have been quite good on, quite decent on. But then Revenant Esports picked Pearl. Aster Army played Pearl yesterday too, and we saw a lot of problems within their Pearl game, but still their team play was looking pretty phenomenal.
Now, Aster Army have also picked up Bind. Now, I'm kind of concerned about this one, you know, because I think the only reason they have picked it up is because they believe Reckoning is somewhat uncomfortable on Binds. We saw their game when they picked up that Viper, and there were quite a lot of gaps in there. So I guess that's the only reason why Aster Army have picked up Bind. They also play decent on Bind, but it can't be that good that they call it their strongest map. No, I think they're better off on Fracture.
No, this definitely makes a lot of sense too. Now, I was just talking about Pearl being picked up and Lotus being banned. Aster Army, considering now that they've banned up the map of Lotus, this is definitely going to be at least putting a little bit of spanner in the works for them, right? Considering we know Reckoning Esports is one of the strong suits was the map of Lotus, but still, even though it's banned out, Reckoning Esports have a pretty decent map pool. And now as they've picked up the map of Pearl as well, we saw Aster Army struggle quite a lot on the map of Pearl. So this is definitely going to be a bit of point of concern if you're Aster Army fan. With that being said, we move on forward to the Agent Select and Aster Army. They're going to bring in the Harbor Viper composition. On the other hand, from Reckoning Esports, we're seeing only that one single controller. It's quite interesting, Crips. We have been taking a look at Reckoning Esports bringing in the Harbor Viper, but this time that's not the case.
Exactly, this switch up, this is going to definitely surprise a couple of people. It will surprise them much more than it will surprise Batman drinking Coke. So yeah, I have to appreciate this cosplay though. I mean, it's super good.
Oh yeah, it's
I just wonder if he's comfortable enough in it, if he's hot, because it looks like it will really make you sweat.
That's what I was wondering too, right? And I think so he's going to be wearing it for all the time, so I don't exactly know how comfortable that's going to look like on him, but hopefully it will be better as the time passes by. But so far, we're going to kick things off with a pistol, ladies and gentlemen. Reckoning Esports on defense and Aster Army on the offense. And we can see we're not really seeing a lot of frenzies this time on the board. Instead, a lot of ghosts. Yeah, makes a lot of sense too. That means maybe the attackers want to go to B long.
Could very well be the case. I mean, Reckoning Esports was one of the first teams to bring up that Harbor Viper, but since the last 2 Pearl games, they haven't picked it up. And that kind of tells you that they are comfortable with this one. And Reckoning Esports are quite heavily focused on mid. They have a double stack towards B Link with the Sky just rotating away in form of Harsh. They have all the turrets placed towards Art as well. So Reckoning Esports definitely prepared to stop this assault. Aster Army, they also show presence towards both the sides, right? They break the turret. That means Art control has been somewhat taken. But Reckoning Esports aren't rotating to intercept them over here yet. Instead, they reinforce the A side itself. And because both the flashes of the team are still towards double door, I'm assuming they will just crunch Art from behind.
Oh, Doxer, good early pick. And now you've got also Voya just following it up. So far, the defense is looking nice as they've got the site control. But Aster Army looking to deny everything. Aduka from the back with the frenzy should be able to get one kill off his own. Peeks out, gets him down. Voya taken care of. And now it's a 2-on-3. Instantly, Aster Army flipping the odds in their favor as now Diddly 10 and Trist. They will need to take care of business. Spike goes down as well. Now the panic's going to start to settle in. But still, Reckoning Esports will need to hold their nerves with the guns. And all the 3 players from Aster too, they're just going to play towards the main side. And they're also playing it quite disciplined. Just peeking out slowly and steadily, giving shoulder peeks, also chipping away a lot of damage on the opponents. This is really just going to make Reckoning Esports panic. And now the last man's stressed, and even he will be dealt with.
No charges left.
Good stuff from Aster Army. I love the way they just take drop-out control immediately. When they come in from Art, they know for a fact that there isn't enough pressure towards A main. So they're not fully sure about what the setup from Reckoning looks like. So they do what they are supposed to do best, just throw the round down into a state of chaos. They push in towards flower pots instead. They get a lot of kills over there, and then even Marzel re-initiates from long later on. On the back of that high tide, they were able to surprise their opponent so hard that Reckoning Esports got isolated in almost every fight that they picked up. Except for that initial crossfire. Everything else was dealt with really easily.
Yeah.
Deadly though. I'm kind of worried. He's playing dangerous games.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he misses the shots though. Those are quite crucial ones too, but it's completely fine considering they're just on an eco. Now Voya will need to take matters in his own hands. Kishi 2 is able to return back with 1. 2-on-4 or 2-on-5 as you can see. It's next to impossible to deal with. And yeah, a flawless round from Aster Army. Anti-eco 1 as well, so that's a good start for them. But now this is where they will be put to test.
Indeed. Reckoning Esports will pick up the guns. And I'm actually kind of concerned about their half armor. Considering that most of Aster Army is on Stingers and Spectres and whatnot. I really think that these Spectres can wreak havoc against these light shields. Of course, it does make sense to have light shields when your opponent has a full buy, when they have only vandals and everything. But this could be a point of concern. Regardless, we'll worry about that when we get to the bridge. We'll cross it when we get to that bridge. For now, Aster Army are just once again doing what they are always starting off their rounds with. Pressure towards B-Link. They also try to put pressure towards Art, but they haven't really made their peak yet. And as I say that, Marzel loses his life. Now his utility at least gets his teammates all the way into its connector, where Harsh will be ready to receive them. Good moves from Aster Army, but Reckoning are just a step ahead.
Yeah, just better in the firepower, and Hirsch to close it off once again. Aster Army getting mowed down and not even able to find a single kill, so that's where the problems might just start to occur. But it's completely fine for the side of Reckoning Esports, as they've still got all the guns up. That means this round is going to be quite a nice one for them, and they've also got a lot of future security going for them. You can see their credits too. Even if they lose out this round, the upcoming round's going to be no problems for them. On the other hand, Aster Army, if they lose this one, problems will start to strike their door, and that's where Aster Army will maybe start panic as well.
I hope none of these teams start to panic. That will make things really awkward. For now, though, look at the positioning from Deadly. That's the position of a man who is not afraid of fighting, who doesn't have anything to fear. Stays in the same pose twice, gets punished twice, and yeah, Deadly will probably have to come up with a new place to start fighting from. This isn't really cutting out for him.
That's true. But at least Hirsch is able to trade it out, but even he's quite softened up, so now he cannot just deal with the enemies anymore. He needs to take things slow and sound. A lot of Harbor and Viper utility in the front. That's why Reckoning Esports aren't exactly able to get the visual onto the enemy players. But still, Triss decides to peek out, and he gets dealt with. Aster Army doing quite a great job, but now Flavin's flank is going to add a lot of spanner in their work. Flavin deciding to fall back, but at least he wants to get some more value, and he actually does. Gets 2 players down. Coley's quite softened up as well. Only 8 HP left on that man. And Hirsch in the back lines, looking to surprise anyone from Aster Army that walks out.
Yeah, I really was surprised when Flavin walked out. I thought that he's gonna be a dead man because there's 3 people ready to peek him. But no, he gets 2 kills instead. And this boxes Aster Army in. They've got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. 20 seconds left, and they must abide by the rules. Must plant towards the B site, where Boya is ready to receive them. Toxin's activated, hoping to let them sneak in. No flash. He's actually planting quite in the open, and this is a little bamboozling because Boya would have assumed that he's towards pillar.
Yeah. The plan's actually all the way towards main. So Hirsch actually is going to clear out main, so now Reckoning Esports knows there's no presence available towards main. So that plant was just trying to deceive them, thinking into that there might just be at least 1 player. Main's cleared out. Voya knows there's someone in the back lines too, as the flash spotted one, and as soon as it peeks out, he hands out a haircut. And Hirsch to close it off once again. So far, Hirsch is able to find a lot of value.
Don't even start that shit.
Harsh, man, he has been the saving grace of Reckoning Esports on multiple occasions. Not only were his flashes perfect in the previous game, this time he's even present himself to set up for all the trades. Not just set up, actually make all those trades happen. So he's stepping up in the firepower department as well. And what brilliant presence of mind from this guy. He's always stayed a step ahead of his opponents. Can he stay a step ahead of them over here now, though? Because Aster Army, while they have weaponry, they're starting to run out of money. So they'll get really desperate now. Anything further than this, then Aster Army will have to eco.
But so far, Aster looking to take things, looking to take matters in their own hands. Quite an aggressive push all the way towards Connector, and Triss from the back strikes him down. Aduka as well is able to return 1 back, but nothing much can be said just yet. It's a trade for trade. Aster Army still not able to make their mind exactly where they want to go towards. Doxer's available on the opposite side, and he gets rid of both of the players, even the controllers out of the game. Now things are going to be a little tricky for Reckoning Esports. No controller left over for them to get the site control back in their hands in the retake. And Deadly 10 has also got his hands on the op, so that's successfully avoided by Aster Army.
Yep, they avoid all the danger, they kill all the people who are trying to push out of A main. And Doxer single-handedly turns the outcome of this round. It is indeed quite a little weird to see Aster Army play this slowly, you know? But I guess they probably expected Reckoning Esports also to make some aggro moves, which they did, but only towards one part of the map, not like that reckless aggression we saw from OG yesterday. At least when it comes to Reckoning Esports, all their intentions and pushes are very clearly illustrated in their approach. They give up a certain area and they reinforce another area, which makes it really easy to figure out what exactly their intent is. I guess the only thing that would confuse Aster Army is if they actually end up waiting for more information to be available from Reckoning and not taking any of those decisions themselves. So Aster Army are finding success now because they have that decisiveness, and even with the limited information they gather, they're able to figure out what Reckoning would do quite well.
And now Reckoning should have also learned their lesson not to push out of OMEN a little bit too long. Or at least not to extend a little bit too much. You see this? Yeah, it's just quite unfortunate. As soon as these two kills were found, the game was pretty much done right there. So yeah, the players that are going to be playing on A, they just need to make sure that they're not pushing up a little bit too much in the front. Instead, just play for a little bit of visual confirmation. Make sure that OMEN's not taken over. Reckoning Esports, though. Now as they've got Deadly 10 just positioned into mid. That was a really good jump pick to bait out the shots. And then now they've also got the information that there's an operator in the mid.
Yeah, but how will they avoid him? Even when they know where the operator is, they've spent so much time that the op could have repositioned. And now this will be trouble for Reckoning Esports. Marzel, he was bitten by the dog. Did they catch him though? They catch Aduka instead. I guess that also works. They would much rather they would much happier to kill Aduka, or maybe they just want to kill everybody. Flavin's also doing an amazing job backing up the Opper, backing up Deadly 10.
Massive.
And Harsh is aware about all potential pushes coming out of Arts.
I like how pushed back Hirsch is playing too. He's going to respect his opponents. Let him have that control. Doxer though on the opposite side. He's looking to push up front. Both the players have managed to sneak quite deep inside the Arts area, but it's still not going to matter because Hirsch single-handedly will line both of them up, and now it's all down to the last player alive, Deadly 10. The opponents soften up. Connection was made too, so only 3 HP left over in the hands of Kishi, and he's not going to be able to stay alive for long. Yeah, he will be dealt with.
3-3. Both these teams are keeping it really competitive.
Yeah,
I like how Aster... Yeah, they're keeping it tight indeed. And I like how Aster Army just dropped the pace whenever it's required. Almost every single fight that Reckoning picked up this round was off of their own accord. Not something that was offered to them by Aster Army. Except for maybe this one. But then again, you can't exactly count this because Aster Army needed to make an A move anyway. They had to make one regardless. So they double peaked. And still somehow, Reckoning Esports are able to win all of this.
Crazy indeed. The knife's gonna get 2 scans. So that's a big move from them. They know where both of the controllers are before Reckoning Esports. This is truly unfortunate. Deadly 10. How does he manage to connect that shot? Lightning fast flick onto the player, but Kishi at least gets the trade done. Still man advantage once again back in the favor of Aster Army. Both the teams just able to spring back into the action. Nicely enough, and now Aster Army looking to step their foot inside the site and also get the plant down. Dome's going to be out as well, so that means the spam's not going to come true, but goalie is barely alive on a sliver of health, and he gets dealt with.
Well, at least they dealt with Coley. Now this puts the round into a 3v3. Viper Spit does get committed, and there's a lockdown on top of it, so there's really not much that Reckoning Esports can do. Goya has very little chances of making it work, so he tries to go for the brave stick, but gets sprayed down by Marzel instead. Oh no, they couldn't even break the lockdown in time, and just like that, Harsh gets detained in front of Kishi's face. Now Trist knows where Kishi is. He could also figure out where Doxer would be playing, but he has to choose between the two, and the decision paralysis kills him.
Yeah, he pulls out the knife at the last moment. And Doxer pushes up and takes care of business. Aster Army. As we said, things are quite tight between both these teams, and this is what we exactly talked about yesterday as well, Crips. This matchup will indeed be a really, really close matchup. And now, Marzul's also got his hands on the Reckoning. That should be a free site take for them. Free site in the taking. Deadly 10. He's also getting avoided. Caught a lot of those times. We know that operator can be massive in condition if it's able to at least strike 2 of the players down in the front. But so far, Deadly 10 isn't able to find that sweet spot.
Yeah, Deadly 10 usually wakes up towards the tail end of the game. It's almost like a ritual. He will never be available for the first half or maybe the first 7 to 8 rounds, which is right about now, and then he will start to pop off. So you could very well expect some domination from him at this moment. Good initiation from Aster Army though. They're basically using Marzul as a primary initiator of sorts. They're making him cut off the entire backside area. They use the Reckoning to make sure nobody pushes them forward. They get that spike plant and then they fall back peacefully towards a main. Now all they have to do is buy time.
Yeah. Reckoning Esports, for them to counter this strategy, they need to send someone on the just lurk in general. Then it will be possible. Unless if you're able to land shots like that, then yeah, that's going to compensate for everything. But then Kishi returns back in style. Good flashes too from Hurst to try and just dominate the players of Aster Army. And so far is able to do so. Able to spray both of them down. And now it's all down to Marshall. But he's not going to lose the duel.
So unfortunate over that. They came so close to dealing with Marshall. But in the dying embers, the captain steps up, giving Aster Army a nice 2-point lead. What a fast round this one. The Seekers just didn't seem to bother Aster Army at all. But then Kishi comes in and he's like, yeah, I will give you a glimmer of hope. And then Harsh comes and takes it away immediately. Like there's double kills upon double kills all over the map.
Yeah. It's just really close. Until the end, if someone's not able to get the final kill, it's really tough to say which team's going to win the round. And look at Marzul once again just holding the flank angle. And it's Deadly 10 pushing up. Oh, that dash is something that actually worked against him. And Marzul got that kill for free. No damage done. Marzul gets away scratch-free. And now Reckoning Esports looking to return back the favor. But it's going to be a little tough. There is a null command available in the hands of Trist. And he will pop it just about now. Nicely done. No utilities available. Harbor Viper now are going to be pretty much useless, as they've only got the Viper's Wall available. And Marzul with the flanks going to pretty much deal with everyone that stands against him. It's just done at this point. Aster Army are countering Reckoning Esports perfectly.
Yeah, but at least they're getting all the frags. It's just down to Flappin. He managed to make it all the way from behind, but unfortunately, he's probably not going to be able to do much. They haven't even planted for long, and they're just all playing from the back of sight. It's just one round that Flappin can't pull off, although he's pulled off. Too late to the party. A bit too late to... Earlier, he would have helped his teammates survive a little bit longer, maybe assist them in fights. But it is what it is, my friend.
It's really unfortunate stuff for Reckoning. They're not able to do a lot on their defense so far. And considering Deadly 10's off as well, it's not able to find a lot of connections. That's just adding a little bit more upset for them. Once again, man's got up to 5,000 credits. Is he going to invest into an op? And high risk, high reward type of situation the operator can bring you with. If it doesn't work, team's into big trouble. And even your economy with the same. And now that a tactical timeout's being called out, you're finally seeing the real face of Bruce Wayne. Or Bruce Wine. Man, he's also given out a lot of calls. He's probably got some read into the players of Aster Army. And Vandalik clearly knows his team is doing quite phenomenal. They're doing quite good to themselves still so far, so he doesn't really need to convey a lot of calls. Reckoning Esports are always having the right timing over the players of Reckoning, and Aster Army are just overall looking like a step better.
No, not just a step better. They look several steps better at the moment. Aster Army, they aren't repeating too many of their attacks, and even though they haven't really pulled off something very, very unique, Reckoning Esports are struggling to deal with them. That's partially because they are not able to get the opening frags, and Aster Army are always offered these fights where they have multiple people trading out at once. They stick to the basics, and Aster Army just continue to maintain their lead. Even the mid-rounding from Aster Army just seems so much better, right? They haven't really walked into any of these traps from Revenant Esports. They avoid them quite often. So, no alarm bells ringing for Aster Army yet. Revenant Esports, though, they have the lockdown available, so in case something goes wrong with the retake situation, they can always use it, but they would prefer not to. Art control taken from Aster Army, and they now look to converge upon the A side, but little do they know that A main control is far from available. Revenant Esports gave away their positions as soon as the Seekers were popped. So they're like, yeah, we might as well just fire down, maybe try to kill the planter. But now that they haven't managed to do any of that, both these players who are towards A main are kind of trapped.
Indeed they are. But I at least like the fact that they've positioned themselves towards the A-main area, but then you see an instant change into the players, or into the rotation that they're making towards the A-main side. It's just so late, but still Flamin expects that. And he gets rid of both of the players, and now a deadly 10 in the close quarters with the op is able to strike down the players in the front. What is going on? Reckoning Esports out and over, they just bump up their firepower so much that Aster Army could not even stand a chance.
Exactly. I mean, one single guy nailing an entire two-man push, that doesn't happen often. I was kind of concerned about the health of Reckoning Esports, especially when they lost the A site and were unable to stop the spike plant from coming through. But then they crunched the site so hard, and it's not even like they crunch it based on superficial timing or some really insane coordinated flash play. Nope. It's just simple plain mouse one. And that's the kind of round we needed from Reckoning Esports. That's the firepower that will stop Aster Army in their tracks. Is that going to be enough though? Because immediately after having a round which goes away from them, they take a tactical timeout too. Both the teams have expended a tactical timeout in the last few rounds.
Tactical timeout, this time from Aster though. As soon as they lost one round, they realized that, okay, now it's time for us to call a tactical timeout. And I guess you can also call that just not giving your opponent an edge. And even if now that Reckoning Esports were exactly able to read into exactly what Aster Army are trying to do over here, I like the fact that both of the players just position themselves towards the main side from Reckoning. And this is what we talked about, right? You either need to send someone on the lurk in the backlines to get rid of the players towards main, or you need to do something like that they did on the previous round. And that's what they did. So that adjustment was quite quick enough, and I like it. But now that the tactical timeout's being called, there might be a little bit of change in the post plans.
Yeah. Nice. Oh my goodness. I don't know about post plants. They probably might never get to plant in the first place. Harsh, a lot of information gathered with that trailblazer. He also probably spotted the spike before getting shot down by a Doxer. So this could probably let Reckoning Esports make all the preemptive rotations correctly. But they don't feel the need to do any of that yet. They've got Voya holding Link himself, while the rest of his utility lies towards the B site. Understandably so, because that's the stronger one. But now that Aster Army have shown presence again and again, it might just be the right time for Reckoning to start rotating in. But that doesn't happen. They're just exchanging flashes and waiting for the crossing towards the planting area, that hut.
Doxer still on the site. And now as Kish is also gonna go for the plant, so Aster Army once again able to secure that A side in their hands. But instead, inside the post plants, they're just gonna be staying on the site and deny the site control from Reckoning Esports. So this was the game plan of Aster, to stay on the site and send one man on the lurk all the way in the back who's quite far away. For Reckoning Esports to get this defense now is going to be quite easy, considering the lurk is way too far away. Doxer fires a couple of shots, gives his position away, and Deadly 10, that glimmer is going to be enough.
That glimmer indeed is enough. Both the teams keeping it competitive, but at least Aster Army are able to finally put another round on the board. They break the win streak for Reckoning. Although it was just a win streak of like 2-3 rounds or something, you still need to do that. You still need to maintain your economics a little more healthily. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Last round of the first half. And there's two massive ultimates available on Aster Army. It's both the lockdown as well as the Reckoning. So I wonder which one of them they will use first. And in case they do plant for B long, Flaben has the Cosmic Divide, which they can use to bisect the map diagonally and then defuse the bomb without actually having to fight Aster Army in post-plants.
Oh my god. It's such an awkward position, but he still gets that kill somehow. Deadly! How are you alive? And now pulls out the shorty in the close quarter and also is looking to shut down the player in the front. But Kishin looks back and slaps him down. And now we'll also go for the lockdown plan. That's quite a bold plan from him. Lockdown gets destroyed, no value found, and Reckoning Esports, in this round, the stars were just aligned. Deadly 10, the fact that he was even able to stay alive and get that kill in the first place was massive.
Indeed. And this brings us to a dead even scoreline. 6 on either side as both the teams are trying to constantly one-up each other. But most of the times it boils down to firepower. Will they be able to keep up this firepower, or will it dwindle as the match progresses? Find out on the other side of this break, where we bring you the second half of this game.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want a game.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, of course, now to the entire, just what I can say, mid-game segment, I guess, considering the first half is now over and it's quite a close half as well, so we don't know how things are going to be looking like into the second half. Of course, a lot of question marks considering how back and forth this entire competition has been. It's really tough to say the wind is going to be in which team's sails. But maybe as soon as the second half starts and this pistol round breaks down, that's when we'll be able to find it out.
I don't think the wind is in anybody's sail. There's a storm brewing out there, Necro, and it's looking to sink everybody if you don't adjust appropriately. Okay, if it wasn't obvious, that was a Batman reference. Jesus, the culture is missing.
Dude, what? How is like Batman and Storm related, bro?
There's a storm brewing out there. No, Gordon's iconic line.
Oh,
okay,
never mind. I know. I now remember, man. Listen, we've been.
It's all right. It's all right. You're too laser focused on Valorant, which is a good thing, Necro. I'll not distract you away from.
Oh. Okay. Well, you don't need to distract me because the Duke has got my attention with that kill. And Reckoning Esports now, they're looking to press the charges against Aster Army because they've got away with murder. So they're looking to press charges onto the B side. At least that's what it seems like. Deadly 10, a single man on a mission on the B to find at least one single opening. And so far his position's also compromised. So At least get some value before you get taken down. That's main Deadly 10's motto. Kohli still going for the jump spot, not able to spot anyone. Reckoning Esports, considering now they're also having a man disadvantage, they need to still find one kill at least to even things out. But Aster Army are not even letting them have that.
Well, at least they managed to bait Aduka out of position by sending the Trailblazer towards a site. But now that the rest of the forces of Reckoning have arrived, I think Aster Army have figured out what's going on. This toxin screen from the Viper is just really making them into very squishy targets.
Just Harbor Viper composition, man. So much visual denying utilities available. A good flash, though, to catch Aduka. Down only 10 HP, and Aduka will also take care of her. At least Reckoning Esports, they're still trying to return back the favor to Aster Army, but no is going to be the answer.
What a clean round. Great opening by killing Voya at the very beginning, as the rest of the team of Reckoning Esports just try to floods in. Doxter's toxin screen makes them all very, very squishy. You don't even need headshots with those ghosts to deal with all of these players who are trying to plant that spike. And even when there was a fake attempted by Harsh towards the A side, they didn't really fall for it. The only person who changed his position was Aduka, and he also figured out what's going on, so he was able to get to his team quite quickly. Great adjustments from Aster Army, and just like that, they've got the superior weaponry now. This will most likely be a 6-8 scoreline unless Reckoning Esports hit some really nutty shots with the two sheriffs that they've purchased on Flabin and Deadly 10.
Let me tell you, man, these anti-ecos, they've been quite anxious. It's really tough for any other team to be just confident enough to straight up just press W key and hope for the best. But Aduka's Marshal needs to answer, and I'm sure it will. Deadly 10 has managed to sneak so deep all the way in the back. This is some incredible amount of control that he's gotten so far. Hopefully Aster Army are well aware of the fact that he's going to be squeezing in all the way from the back lines, trying to find some openings, and now has also managed to find so much control all the way towards the connector area. Marzul might just be caught off guard. He's about to walk in his crosshairs. Marzul spotted. Deadly 10 looking to strike, but he's still holding that trigger discipline. Please. Yes, I think so. Maybe we'll see that. No, okay, no. It just goes for the straight up execution.
Yup, but after getting that kill, he's got so much to do now. His teammates are kind of split, and Aduka is turning them into mincemeat. He might just stop the plant as well. Flabin somehow recovers in the nick of time, so the plant can continue. And now the backup has arrived as well, so Kishi has to deal with Voya and Deadly first before he can deny the plant. But he doesn't need to, because Kohli has arrived on the scene, and the Spectres are just running across, ripping them to shreds. After all that is said and done, after that heroic flank from Deadly 10, his team still fails.
This right here, man, that could have been way better if you pulled out the knife.
I mean, it's not even about the knife anymore, right? The adjustments from them later on, they were kind of telegraphic, because pretty much the entirety of Reckoning Esports is just waiting outside of A main. They had a little control of art, and they wanted to go towards the A side regardless, which Aster Army was fully aware of. Yeah, Marzul dies, they lose an early player, that's not exactly a problem, because even after Marzul died towards B-Link, there was no pressure towards B-Link from Reckoning Esports. They continued going towards the A site, and at best what would have happened after that is that Deadly 10 can stop maybe one more rotation from happening, but he just simply wasn't able to do any of that. He was already present towards Connector, the rest of Aster Army rotated via GT spawn. So again, that beautiful flank gives them only one little kill, whereas it could have given them the world.
True that. Deadly walks out once again. Good flashes though from both the sides. Confirms a lot of information, but it's Reckoning Esports who break free from the chains that are being built onto them, or at least that are being wrapped upon them. Voya is well able to get the arts control set up, and now it's a 4-on-3 man advantage in their hands. A side in the takings as well. No one's going to be able to stop them from taking that A site pretty easily. Just able to get it in their hands. Seekers revealing a lot of positions too. You can see Voya just walking onto that place. He hears Doxer fading away, but Doxer walks back. Oh, this is little mind games, but still not quick enough to react. Doxer gets caught. Kishi now, the only man left on the site, and his teammates all the way back in the dugout. Aduka finally steps his foot on the site. But now Aster Army, for them to get the site control back is just so tough. Players are positioned all across the board, and now they will also need to win all the duels, which will be next to impossible.
So yeah, this is indeed a big problem, right? Aster Army are doing a pretty decent job. At least they were doing it in the last few rounds of keeping Reckoning away. But as long as Reckoning can get that plant down, their crossfires are solid. That player towards the left-hand side of Dugout, then one towards Art. Those guys themselves have such a strong crossfire that Harsh doesn't even need to show up. And yet Harsh was out there putting pressure on with the Trailblazer, with the guiding lights and everything else.
That's how you survive.
Let's see if Reckoning can replicate something like this again. Defaults, though, from Reckoning. Quite spread out. You've got Deadly and Trist making noise towards B. You've got the Sky and Flabin putting pressure on A. Meanwhile, absolutely nothing towards mid. It's just Voya holding shops and has started holding high mid.
Oh. Voya. Reckoning Esports once again. Classic positions. Good timing as well. What was that? That distraction that was being set up from them. Just looks away for a second. Voya peeks out in the perfect time and gets rid of the player in the close quarters. And out and over, you blink it and the site control's already taken away from Aster Army. Flabin looking to just surpass in, push himself a little bit forward. Aduka's position compromised, but at least he was able to get one in his hands and also being suppressed, so he cannot even utilize the utilities that he's got left over onto that jet. Still not going to matter a lot, but Aster Army, at this point, any single support, any single utility can make a big difference for them.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, you don't even need utility. They never needed utility to get into the site. They won't need it now. Wow. Sheesh, that was one of the best contact plays I've seen. Reckoning just literally walk in, dude. No sound, no utility. I mean, sure, there was pressure towards mid a little bit. Yeah. There was some noise being made towards B, but that's not exactly enough to classify as a fake. I can't exactly call that noise being made towards the B side a fake. And I mean, what Reckoning did over here was extremely risky, right? I mean, in case, I believe, I don't remember who was playing from Flowerpot, but in case that guy peeks out and he sees them, then the entire contact play is ruined.
That's true. I felt like I was watching OG for a couple of seconds. But, Aster Army, shots taken, shots fired, and Reckoning Esports, they know there's a Guardian trained on the site, so you do not really want to mess around with it. The one-tap potential out of this gun is crazy. And now Reckoning Esports just going for the plants. They do not really want a lot of smoke against their opponents. Instead, just straight up position themselves for the post plants. Deadly in this position needs to go nuclear. And that's why he's the only man present on the site. He's sort of the player who needs to have a massive surprise element on the side, and that's what he does. Able to surprise one of the players, get second one down as well. Third one's lined up too. Doxer, though, stabs him in the back with his Sheriff. And now it's all down to Doxer and Aduka, the two glimmer of hopes, the massive pillars that Aster Army have got left over inside this round. Too much to deal with, a lot of pressure, and Reckoning Esports are going to pick him apart.
Deadly did go nuclear over here. He blew up in Aster Army's faces. And yeah, Doxer was there to defuse that so-called nuke, but by that time it was already too late. And this is something that Reckoning Esports are always good at. Their post-plant crossfires are some of the most lethal ones in the entire tournament. I mean, even OG struggle against their post-plant crossfires sometimes.
That's true.
So I guess the win condition for Aster Army is clear enough now. Just stop them from getting into the site in the first place. You can't afford to let them plant at all. And on the back of this timeout, I'm kind of expecting Aster Army to pick up this thing. We might just start seeing a lot more aggression from Aster Army now.
I really wonder what sort of information Vandalic's given away, but I'm loving these initial setups that Reckoning Esports are showing. They're always having Voya positioned into mid. Just watching out for the lurk, making sure his teammates are not going to get stabbed in the back, and then the rest of his team is also able to clean out the site quite well enough. So even though the setup's looking quite classic, still Reckoning Esports is making it look pretty fancy. Operator in the hands of Aduka. A win condition indeed that Aster Army is looking to activate. And Aduka is going to be positioned onto the A site. Reckoning Esports might just be walking into that trap. Even if one single kill is being tasted by Aduka, this can bring so much difference onto the game. And on the opposite side, on the B, there's only Kishi available with all of his util just placed onto that. As you like to call it, Crips, a microwave setup.
That's not me.
Wow, what a trade. You forgot you called it microwave.
Everyone calls it that. That's not something I
Really?
invented.
Oh. So I guess like it's sort of like the new thing where like you say, yeah, he just got cooked.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. But it's
I
time
guess
to
we'll
let
let him
Deadly cook. Yeah, Deadly did try to cook, you know. He actually baited out quite a decent rotation. So, at this point, Muzzle's kind of all over the place, right? His high tide is cutting across, it was cutting across the double door arts as well as A main, but he himself is holding towards B. And because of all this confusion, Aster Army like, screw it, we don't want to find it out ourselves. Let's just use the Seekers and figure out where these guys are. And most of the Seekers are heading towards the A site, which is correct. Reckoning Esports are about to breach in, and on the back of all this util, they will send everything inside. Flabin already deploys the smokes, but you have Aster Army trying to challenge them ahead of the smokes, ahead of the utility. The Reckoning also pushes Reckoning back, and yeah, I guess saying the same word twice does kind of take away the effect from it, but it's the only way to stop Reckoning. There you go, I dropped it a third time.
Yeah, 8 HP only in the hands of Kohli, and I was also now looking to close on the distance from the back. This is a little risky, and Reckoning Esports went for a last moment save. So I guess you could say that the Reckoning Esports should have just expected the fact that the opponents have a Reckoning available, and maybe they should have planned something new out. Maybe try to bait that Reckoning. Maybe set a fake up on one of the sites so that Reckoning's baited out by Reckoning. And then after that Reckoning's that baited out by Reckoning, they can try to hit the other side because there's no Reckoning.
You reckon what I'm saying?
I do reckon, man.
We need to stop doing this. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we enjoy our humor. I'm not really sure if others are getting this
We
one.
are so childish. It's crazy, man. I'm pretty sure the people that are watching us, just listening us actually, they're probably getting cooked up.
And that's all the jokes we have in store for you today. Thank you so much for coming to our TED Talk. Let's get back into the game. And oh my goodness, Goya really wants to bring us back. Is he going to use this lockdown? I think he can. He can afford to do so. I mean, there's no other point trying to hold on to it. Plus, there's no utility that Aster Army can use that will destroy this lockdown or endanger it. What are they going to do? Dry peek it? Obviously not when Deadly's holding. But still, Reckoning take their sweet time.
Yeah. Tasmanian Tiger's out. He's on the hunt, looking to bite someone in the back. But instead, he gets bit with bullets. Aster Army.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, Reckoning are making noise over here. They're not falling back either. Rotations from Aster Army have arrived, so this round has basically entered a stalemate.
But the problem is that Reckoning Esports, considering they only have one controller available, they cannot even just straight up decide to breach in the site. They will need a challenge head on with the guns, and that's what they're trying to do. They were trying to play completely on the back of that firepower, but it just did not work out. And I guess it's one of the problems of having just one single controller on this map.
I don't think the controller was even the problem. Even if they had a double controller, they probably would have lost in this round because they took such a long time to just enter the B site. And it's not like they're trying to spend a lot of time here to sell a fake and then go elsewhere. No, they want to commit towards the B site, so they don't keep their positions a secret. The trailblazer that was thrown ahead by Kohli, all 4 people shot at it, so I don't really see what was going on over here. I mean, you could see it coming from a mile away that the lockdown would be invested by Reckoning, but yet they went in before the lockdown popped, before it fully detained anyone. So yeah, they basically just shot themselves in the foot. This was a throw round.
Oh, well, I guess here we go. Reckoning Esports not really enjoying the taste of defeat in that previous round. So this time they want to take matters in their own hand. But Aduka, he's quite quick with it and quite slick. Delivers a blow, and that's a big one too with the shorty. Now Marzel as well looking to do the same thing, but still the spike goes down. It's not really going to matter a lot. Marzel stays in that same spot, and he gets taken care of. Aduka able to return one back. It's a 3-on-4. Man advantage in the hands of the opponents. Aster Army looking good as ever before. Operators, of course, going to be a massive problem for them now that considering they've also popped out the Viper's Pit. This is going to be a bit of a good news for the opponents. Aster Army, they've got the site control established. All they need to do is now take care of the players in the front. It's going to be quite a tough task, but they're still doing it quite nicely. And Aduka is delivering on the back of that operator. Voya is trying his best, but it's not going to get it done.
Aster Army, they really had to work to get this defuse. Reckoning Esports did a decent job, and I wonder if the previous round in which they placed the lockdown was just a little ruse, was just a little play for conditioning. Because the previous round was super slow, this round was super fast. Aster Army couldn't see it coming. But as soon as that Cosmic Divide was committed, you could see that Aster Army wanted to get some kills and not let Reckoning retreat. They had Marzel use the Cove, they had Aduka use the Cloud Burst, hoping to get a couple of frags before Reckoning falls back to safety. And when they realized all of that's not working, Doctor said, screw you, I have a Viper's Pit. Good luck shooting into that.
Oh, this is quite a risky one, and he actually does not even shoot out. Just going to cause so many issues for the opponents. Flabin now is also suppressed because of that. It's just going to put a little bit of sense of fear in Flabin's mind, so he's not going to peek out just yet. Voya gets rid of all the utility that was available in the link. So that at least a good one. Maybe it's going to distract the players of Aster Army a little bit more towards the link area. And that's what seems like it's happening so far. Deadly tense position compromise, and Coley's there to bounce it back. Kill secured. 5-on-3 for Reckoning Esports. This is quite a tough affair, but they need to make it happen no matter what. And Voya is able to sneak all the way in the back. I don't exactly know what sort of a move that was from Marzel, but it actually worked out against them. And Flabin is able to squeeze one kill off his own. Voya having a massive flank, and he's also got a good timing. Might just be able to catch one player right here, and he probably will be able to do so. Coley caught. There's still one Viper on the site in the name of Doxer. Is looking for Voya to step in that smoke, and he executes him. 2-on-2 out and over tables. Now it seems like they've been flipped in the favor of Reckoning, and Trist will shut down Marzel as well. That one little misplay from Marzel cost him this round.
1v2. Doxer's Viper's Pit won them the last round, but now he will have to pull off something really miraculous to make this one happen. Luckily, there's no sorts of utility on the spike that can delay the spike plant. If he could have tapped it, then they probably would have invested the gravity well, which would have, you know, made someone at least peek out. But yeah, Doxer's running out of time, running out of options, so he might as well just go for the save. And you notice instant improvement from Reckoning Esports. You remember this one round where Deadly just managed to get into its connector and he backstabbed, well, almost backstabbed Marzel. I thought he was gonna knife him and everything. You remember that round and how Reckoning failed inside it? Well, this was a carbon copy of that same round, except this time on the back of the control that Reckoning Esports acquired to its connector, they hit the appropriate site. In the previous round, Reckoning went from Art to its connector. They got control of B-Link, and his teammates had no intentions of coming to its B-Link at all. But this time, when they get that backstab and when they get that control from Waterfall from the back lines, his teammates also hit the A site because the flanker is in appropriate positions to help them out. And Reckoning Esports instantly learned from that mistake. They're using something that happened like 7-8 rounds ago and putting that to use right now, in one of the most crucial moments that could turn the game.
10-11 Crips, and Reckoning Esports looking to even out the scoreline once again. At least they were able to pull that round back in just 3-on-5. So I'm loving that fact. And Voya, you saw the way he was also able to just squeeze in. That one little mistake, man, just cost Aster that round. And now that Aduka is also back onto Operator, problems will be stacked up on the top of each other for Reckoning. Operator needs to be countered, no matter what. And the only way to do that is just to wipe the Operator completely. And that's what the players of Aster were able to do when Deadly 10 was on his op. They were able to avoid it so successfully enough. Peeks out. Aduka cannot go for a re-peek at that position because he will be dealt with if he does so. And Reckoning Esports, they've at least got the angle control so far. They've managed to also move quite deep in to the mid area. Looking to take the arts control in their hands too. Aduka just holding that cross with the up. A good jump spot from Hirsch, and he actually wants to challenge that duel once again, and he will be taken care of. Second time he tried to do something like that onto the back of a complete dry peak, and it does not work out. The odds of Aduka missing that shots are quite low.
Exactly, and you can't afford to repeat the same thing again and again, hoping for different results. Some people call that the definition of insanity. I call it just Aduka being super consistent. Oh, but Marzel's about to get in a lot of trouble. There's a double peek coming towards him. He expects one, but does he expect the second? Absolutely not. Twist now has control, and Warrior with a wonderful kill. This definitely will make things easier.
30 seconds.
Now,
the problem
look at what...
is-
Yeah, what is the problem?
I said 2 players are softened up from Reckoning, so it shouldn't be tough for Aster Army to take him down.
Oh, okay. I thought the bigger problem was gonna be Doxer, but I see that he's been appropriately dealt with. But that spent too much time, and this gives enough time for Kishi and Aduka to reposition.
10 seconds left.
Now the spike is dropped in no man's land. There's no way Triss can do anything about this.
Yeah. It's better if he just goes for the save over here, man. And maybe hope for an OT in the future. That's what all they can do. Reckoning Esports, the problem is that they're losing out players quite early off in the round, and that needs to be cut out somehow. They need to start playing together. I guess that's the only way you can do it.
True. Preventing player loss early on, not giving away first kill, definitely is a solution that can be a little difficult to implement. But I think the bigger problem to fix over here is their obsession with heading towards B link again and again. I mean, sure, it gets them kills. It gets Reckoning Esports the advantage they need, but they're not able to always capitalize on this one. Out of the 3 times they've tried to go in for connected controls, they've only succeeded once.
Oh, really good suppress. Able to get a lot of information out of the back of that, and once again they're going to do the same thing, but luckily enough for them, they've managed to avoid the operator, but an instant lockdown's available from Kishi, and a counter lockdown is also available from Reckoning Esports. Deadly 10 just dashes all the way in the back, and now also wants to get rid of that lockdown. He's done so, perfectly done. Reckoning Esports, Reckoning is also going to be used against Reckoning, so problems are going to start to occur for them, but still it's not going to stop them to get the side control.
Yeah, but now that Reckoning Esports has established the control of the side, they will not try to go for crossfires. Instead, they try to go for the fights. And they are the kind of team that loves fighting secret. But this isn't the way I expected this to go down. Oh, angled and checked. Flaven holds his ground. And as Aduka tries to frag him, Triss will spray him from the other side. He comes ahead of the high tide, hoping to provide backup. And he does. It's all up to Kohli. And he's done it so many times before. But this time, it's different. This time, he's got his backs against the wall. He can end the game right here and now. Otherwise, we will go all over again. And he tries to go for the pre-fire, but Voya strafes around.
So close, man. Way too close for comfort. But Reckoning Esports, oh, barely hanging on the cliff. Aster Army, they just need one more round. And Reckoning Esports, they need one more round to extend this game to OT. Aduka with the Blade Storm. And the problem is that, and now a huge problem actually for Aster Army, they're struggling with the economy.
Oh no, this is like the worst time to run out of money, man. So, the second worst time would be when you got a gun pointed at you and someone's trying to mug you, but we'll deal with that later on. Reckoning Esports realize that Aster Army don't have much firepower. That's why they just want to send it in, and especially when Deadly's hitting shots like those, he can be a real nightmare. Aduka, he has an updraft of his own, a creative way to deal with Kohli from all the way back, but still the problems aren't over. The Cloudburst, he felt desperate enough to stop the plant, so he had to go for that kind of a play, but only if he did it not alone. Maybe if he just swung out with 3 more people, it would have made a difference. Now, it leaves them very vulnerable, and the only person who can save them is Kishi, but he's been detected already.
Yeah, the play that he tried to make, he did that once in the past, so that's why it did not work out this time. Dome was utilized from the opponents, but it's still not going to matter at all. Once again, Aster Army just causing themselves so much trouble, considering they've lost all the players in the early off, and now it's all down to Doxer with only 42 HP. 2 bullets should seal the deal onto this player. And he's still looking to make a comeback. Good pick, though, onto Trist. So much value being found. Doxer is trying his best to pull this back in his hands, and now also pops out the Viper's Pit. But Voya's got a good timing. Reckoning Esports, that could have been way too close than that.
Switching sides.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been this close in the first
Overtime.
place, but Doxter did a really good job of trying to just isolate those fights. And yeah, I should be giving credit to Reckoning for winning the round and pushing this game into overtime, but they almost slipped up over there. The last time something like this happened, the last time Doxter deployed his Viper's Pit, Reckoning lost a round they shouldn't have. And I was starting to get deja vu all over again, but then Voya says, not to worry, my friend, not to worry. This overtime, we have this in the bag.
And considering this is the pick of Reckoning Esports, if they're lost on this map, they will definitely be devastated. So they need to win this one out. Side switched. Deadly 10 goes for the operator. Once again, high risk, high reward. But this man has got a lot of potential on that gun. But so far on defense, he wasn't really able to activate himself. And he's also once again on the opposite side. Aster looking to hit up the A site this time, but they have been blocked off so far. A good smoke and a good timing onto that too. Trist as well, realizing the fact that there is some firepower needed, so he's going to decide to back off all the way towards Arts.
Meanwhile, Aster continue doing their best to break all the KJU till they can. They can hear the turret across the corner, so Kishi really wants to just destroy it. Hopefully send the message that they're defaulting. But they actually aren't. They're just moving in for a B crunch. They're getting into the right positions. Now, luckily for Aster Reckoning also aren't playing that aggressively, so Reckoning won't have any early information about this push. They will still have to wait on the back of this cascade, and Reckoning can only play a guessing game. So Aster have the surprise element still. Rotations haven't arrived, but as soon as that cascade fades away, Deadly misses, and Marzel punishes him. Now the problems begin.
Yeah, the problems indeed begin, but Voya, he's got his teammates back. Gets one, instantly backs off all the way to the back as well. But this time, Kishi, the flag's not going to work out. Reckoning Esports, they're able to keep things intact, even inside the Seco round. Shorty pulled out, Voya gets one, backs off to safety. Doxer gets the trade down. And now it's a 3-on-2. Right, Voya didn't really expect the man to be so close. Flabbin and Hirsch, the last two players alive, and for Aster, it's Doxer and Coley, as Doxer's dealt with by Hirsch. It's gonna leave Coley all by himself, and even he gets taken care of. Hirsch, once again, steps massively for his team.
Reckoning Esports just playing this like a fiddle. Their post plans are not just good on the attacking side, but even on defense, they know how to break open a crossfire or two. Aster that really just tried to play on the site itself rather than falling back. Plus, they lost quite a lot of members in the process of just planting it, right? Especially when Voya is feeling adventurous. He's able to tank that poison cloud. Sorry, not the poison cloud. He's able to tank that snake bite, stay around the pillar, get one before the Cove is deployed, then jump into the Cove again for a second shorty kill. And it's these kind of shenanigans that keep Reckoning Esports afloat.
13-12, ladies and gentlemen. Reckoning Esports having a little edge over the players of Aster. And now that they're going to be pushed back on the defense and Reckoning on the offense, once again, the pressure is going to start to mount. As I said, these two teams are really good when it comes to defense, but their offensive side has been a little questionable throughout the playoffs, or you can just say throughout their VCSA journey in general. But now this offensive round is going to mean so much for Reckoning Esports. This is their map pick, so they need to win this one no matter what.
Backs against the wall. Aster must win this map. They will try to force this game into another overtime. If they don't, they will be going into their own map pick with a disadvantage. But I guess things are worse for Reckoning Esports, right? If they lose their own map pick, then things will be even more uncomfortable for them.
Indeed.
I don't think either of these teams want to go to Fracture. That is just too chaotic for either of them. Luka, though, with the glass cannon off, he's playing dangerous games, and he's about to get swung! Deadly 10 out of the picture already. Oh, they can't catch him on the fallback! They sprayed him down. He lost most of his HP, but at least the op's still alive. Now it's up to Marzel to make a difference. And he will just pluck them off through the woodworks. Trades back and forth, all the place, everywhere. But still, there's no direction towards this hit from Reckoning. They haven't really fully committed to a site yet. Oh, and now they won't get to commit either.
Dry peaks, man, from Reckoning are really just catching them off guard. But what can they do, too, if you're Reckoning? It's just tough in general. Trista's position's compromised, too. And Reckoning Esports this round, it seems like it's already starting to fade away from their hands. A 1-on-4, it is doable, but still, something miraculous needs to happen. If Trist is able to somehow isolate these duels, then yeah, it's going to be a date with Destiny, but I highly doubt so. Kishi's got an off angle, and he will shut Trist down. Aster Army able to bring it back once again, and they take us to another OT.
Overtime.
Another overtime ensues. And the problems for Reckoning Esports on their attacking side continue. Their defaults actually have a decent intent. I mean, they want to pick up fights, they want to get some early kills and then make a commitment, which is understandable and everything. But in order to actually do that, you need to start sticking together and picking up those fights. Or rather, should I say, force those fights. You can't expect Aster Army to offer them to you. Because when they offer you fights, it will mostly be a Duke with an op who's just staring you in the face. Well, this time, seems like Aster Army has heard what I said about Reckoning, and they are looking a lot more aggressive. Trailblazer towards B-Link. At the same time, a triple push out towards Art. A reverse Trailblazer will be thrown on, but I don't think there's any follow-up on the back of it. Flabin also can't hold on. Aster Army are just tearing a hole in this defense and punching through. And this time, Reckoning have no control on A-Main either. So this is looking more and more problematic.
Placing alarm bot.
It indeed is. For Reckoning with only 2 players up and alive to get this entire retake off. Oh, it seems like expecting a little bit too much. But for Aster Army, look at their post-plant positions. They're playing so disciplined, and it doesn't seem like they've got any intentions of even peeking out for a single second. They're just doing some shoulder peeks, taking a couple of shots, falling back, just trying to chip away a lot of damage on the opponents. And now it's all down at Deadly 10. Gets into half, falls back, and he will be dealt with. Aster Army, they play that pretty tight. And now, as Aster Army have got their advantage on the second overtime, once again, a chance for Reckoning Esports to bounce back on their attack, which they have been struggling so far to do so.
That's true. When do these struggles stop? When does the joy begin? Is there any joy to be found in this match? Will Aster Army put them out of their misery? All these questions, they're just kind of boggling you right now, and they've taken a turn for the Doc. Doctor puts up a normal poison cloud rather than a one-way. Interesting. I mean, there's still quite a lot of defense on Beat Link, regardless of whether there's a one-way present or not. They'll probably make contact with Marzo, and then the other guy will also swing, but Doxer's flash, so he cannot swing. There's no trade possible. That's the opening Reckoning needed. Strike 1, acquired towards B Link. Now they need to put pressure elsewhere. Maybe that pressure could be towards A main, because Kohli's already sending flashes and everything over there. I'm sorry, not Kohli, it's Harsh sending flashes and everything over there. Which actually warrants a response from Aster Army, because they double push out of A main and they don't see anything. And now because of that push, they realize that Reckoning is hitting B, but it might just be a bit too late because Kohli doesn't have any time to fall back. No response available.
Oh, what a shot from Doxer, though. Was able to find out a haircut onto one of the opponent players, and now Trist as well, just going for the plant. That's a perfect snake bite onto the feet of the Trist, but still it's not going to matter. A 3-on-4 odds stacked with the players of Reckoning Esports so far. Their defense is looking pretty good on this post-plant scenario, and what a good timing on that gravity well too. Just pulls back the player who was looking to clear out the backside, and now Duca with the operator. He's got the stick to strike someone down in the front, but the peaks will be given away, but they're quite perfect too. Able to swing off of each other. Reckoning Esports, the team play is looking so phenomenal on this post-plant.
Yeah, finally, Reckoning Esports.
Switching sides.
They are manifesting whatever they wanted to create since regulation, but they only bring it to fruition in the overtime. And we go into yet another one. I have to admit though, Reckoning Esports, once they get this plant down, their crossfires look very solid. But off late, they've kind of been shooting themselves in the foot by trying to default for too long, and then they don't have any intent on the back of it. So I'm glad that they're focusing on fixing the first half of the mistakes rather than worrying about the post plans. And this definitely gives them a leg to stand on. Now it's Aster Army's turn to prove that once again.
Oh, Reckoning Esports Deadly 10, I like this aggression from the player. Trying to be aggressive. It's trying to be too cheeky as well. But unfortunately, he hits that shot, but it's through the wall.
Really?
That's what one of the main problems has been for Deadly 10. He's been hitting so many shots through the walls that the players are actually left alive with a decent amount of HP for them to try and retaliate and also get a couple of return frags onto the opponents. He peeks that through the smoke, and Triss blows all three of them down. Aster Army, you blink it and you miss it. As soon as you open your eyes, you see 3 players lost from Aster, and now Doxer out and over is the only player and the only glimmer of hope up for Aster Army. That timing from Triss was so perfect, but you can also call it a good team play.
Oh my lord, you need to hit the replay button for that one. Doxer has a near impossible task on his hands. He's about to get quadruple peaked, and this is the worst thing that you can do to a player. Still, he's fighting back. Still, he's dinking them. But Reckoning Esports just channeled all of that energy into that one. What on earth was this?
I don't even know, man.
Borderline
Guy just
criminal.
went full Rambo mode.
No, even Rambo can't pull this off, dude. Rambo is just one dude with an Odin spraying 1,000 bullets at an A-10 aircraft flying on low altitude. This guy, he's flicking his mouse across. At one point, I was worried he would literally run out of mousepad space. But after Aster Army lost Marzel, they had to make this play. They had to go towards connector and try to pull a page out of Reckoning's playbook. I guess Reckoning won't let them do the same thing that they were like doing, right? Trist is like, nah, you can't use my own play against me. This thing, it's reserved for Deadly 10. Now Reckoning look to deliver the finishing blow. Aduka once again on glass cannon off, but this time he's on the wrong side. He won't be here to stop this push in time. Best that can happen right now is that Kishi, he can pop the nanoswarms and delay the push for a little bit, but Harsh instantly decapitates him. Doxer tries his best, but he too will lose his life, and the spike can get easily planted. The seeds of doubt are being planted deep inside the minds of Aster Army, and soon they will sprout into a beanstalk. Not unless Aduka can save the day, not unless he can trim out the leaves.
Oh, that was really good blind. Warriors position compromised. A good dome too to try and get the defuse done. And now Reckoning Esports. He did actually tap and fall back, so that's why Reckoning Esports are now sort of in a massive discomfort. They know Voya is still all the way in the back lines, but a good shot from Deadly 10 to find that kill. And now it's all down to Marzel. It seems like the first map is going to be in the name of Reckoning Esports. Marzel's got too many players to deal with, and he will be taken care of. That was way too close to comfort, but still in the end, it's Reckoning Esports to close it off. The first map of this BO3 series in the lower bracket finals is taken by Reckoning Esports. And also Flabbin once again coming up with a victory dance.
He always comes up with new ones. He always comes up with those cool moves. But I guess his moves inside the game were cooler today. The coolest, however, has to be Trist. That triple kill from him saved the day. What a moment to step up. What a way to showcase brilliance.
That's what I said, right? You cannot even call it pure luck, but I would say that was just straight up team play. Triss realized that one of his teammates is just stuck towards connector, so he knew that he needs to press on and help his teammate and give it a little bit more firepower. But luckily enough for him, the Jet used her smoke, and Triss pushed through that smoke, delivering a massive, astonishing blow to the opponents. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to break down, and we will break it down after a short break. And then you can also talk about God's Reign in general. But the way Reckoning does it, it's quite different. And that's what makes them stand out than all the other teams. Reckoning Esports' main forte is them being able to adapt. And when you yourself are in the driving seat, how many of the times are actually going to be able to come up with a new strat? So Reckoning Esports knows, okay, now it's an A-side hit. We know exactly what they did last time, so let's go and easily counter that. So it's just brilliant.
Exactly, it's very difficult to come up with that kind of a stuff in the heat of the moment, and that's exactly why they pre-plan all of this, right? The amount of protocols that Reckoning have, it's not even funny. They have so many of these sentences planned out where they basically say, if X happens, then we do Y, if happens, then we do this. So those if-then equations are just present for Reckoning by abundance, and they have a lot of those protocols ready. That's exactly why they are such a dangerous team to go up against, because they will always have one or the other counter prepared for you. This time though, the element of surprise comes from their agent composition. Voya picks up the Reyna. Now, I'm not surprised by the Reyna pick, but I didn't expect Voya to be the one to do this. Meanwhile, Flabin has picked up the Harbor, which isn't all that surprising because he's played controller in the past, but I haven't really seen him play this particular character. On the other hand, Asurami, they have no surprises. Aduka on Raze, Kishi on Sky. We expected all this. Marzel's pulled off the Cypher as well. So I would love to see how he combines his Tripwires with Doxter's Poison Clouds. That really could send a number to Reckoning. But so far, the counter utility has pushed Asurami back. Although Reckoning, even though Deadly jumped into the TP at one point, has now made it back to safety. So Reckoning also don't have much to worry about. Asurami though, they're quite spread out, you know. I think they're about to pinch teleporters on the Bath area. They've got two outside of B main already, and the other two just about to make contact over here. Just waiting for the TP jump. Meanwhile, the spike isn't anywhere close to either of these sites. And yeah, the jump comes through. This was Deadly's cue to fall back. He can't exactly hold on to that area by himself, but he can continue spamming through the smokes, and that should work brilliantly.
Indeed it does, and now the trades are equally on the board too for both these teams. Flabin though still looking to strike back and sting back to the opponents. Able to find two of his own. The frenzy in close quarters can definitely be quite deadly, but unfortunately for Trist, this time the spray does not really work out in his favor. But still, Doxter's quite softened up, and Voya, a good shot onto his opponent. Doxter with only 22 HP still is able to get the drive-by done. And considering how low he is, and he's still able to make it out alive, one bullet should seal the deal onto this player, but still you can clearly see the amount of fear he's able to instill into his opponent's heart. It's crazy. Left. Now looking to find the players and isolate the duel against them, but Flabin, as I said, all he needs to do is one single bullet, and that's it.
Reckoning Esports really loved just fighting as a unit, and it was visible from minute 1. Deadly 10 jumps into teleporters from B long to Bat. He somehow gets away scot-free. And this comes to bite Asurami back so hard later on.
10 seconds
Asurami also pull off something similar, you know? They jump into TPs to take control of Path really quickly. But then, without having too much A-shot control, by sending 4 players in via Bat, they were just basically running into the traps placed. I mean, all that Reckoning have to do is just spray down that narrow corridor and they get all that they require. Deadly 10, making it look simple. Just getting all the frags required. These unarmored opponents are nothing to him. Look at him! Just basically bird hunting. Flabin also helps him out over there, and Voya is not afraid of pushing out of smokes. Apparently not afraid of running out of bullets either.
Yeah, for a second I thought that was Deadly who hit that shot, but then I looked at the kill feed and I was like, okay, it's Flabin who got that bird. And he clipped his wings, but yeah, it's just the second round, so you are going to expect massacre. But considering Reckoning Esports, they've still got 2 Vandals and a Bulldog on the board, there's a high chance this round too can be countered by them. If those 2 Vandals are able to find a lot of value, Voya and Deadly 10. Personally, as I said too, when I saw Voya for the first time on this map, I said, I really want to see this player on the duelist role. He's so capable of getting so many frags if he's going to be playing that, and so far he's doing a phenomenal job.
What's better about Voya is that he really knows when to push out of smokes and when not to. So I guess he's capable of making those surprise plays, but this time none of the surprises are working for Reckoning Esports. Not even 10 seconds into the round and they've already lost most of their forces.
One thing I've noticed is that pushing against Aster is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. This was the same thing that Reckoning Esports tried to do in the map of Pearl, if you remember, and they always got countered on their defense. So pushing against them is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, and you might as well respect Aster presence on the map. But
you can't afford to give them too much map control, right? So at some point, Reckoning will have to either push to gather information or find other ways of gathering information. And it can't always be Harsh with his flashes, just doing the dirty work. I mean, he's a Sky. He's supposed to not only gather information, but also set up the plays for his teams. What kind of plays will he set up if Reckoning don't play aggressively?
Oh, there we go. Instant TP, and Marzo's on the other side just waiting. Aster Army. Good round, a really good round. They've only lost out on 1 gun, so it's not that big of a crack into their economy just yet. Looking pretty solid. They've also got a lot of credits saved up for them in the future.
So I want to touch upon the point you made over here. You're right. Reckoning, they can't afford to play aggressively all the time. They certainly can't afford to play aggressively at the start of the round when Aster Army is holding their defaults, waiting for them to push out. So mid-round aggression has to be the name of the game over here for Reckoning. But identifying when to play that, when to make those moves, can be very tricky against a team that's as patient as Aster Army. Oh my lord.
Wow.
I guess,
That flick.
yeah. I mean, we were just discussing whether they should play aggro or not, but I guess hitting your opponent square in the face is a convenient enough solution regardless of the timing of the round, huh?
Oh, this time not able to make it back to safety. Coley catches him and clips his wings. Still the man advantage though, that's what really matters, and for now Reckoning are going to be more than happy. They're quite satisfied with the results of the game so far. Pakishi able to steal it back into his team's favor. 3-on-3 for the defender. The number is what really matters. Unless Voya is able to make some spectacular plays, then maybe you can count on the players of Reckoning. But so far, Aster Army, they're really trying to fiddle with the enemy mines. Doxer in quite an off angle outside bathrooms. And you can see Aster Army too, slowly and steadily just trying to rotate onto that spot itself. And Kishi just positioning himself towards that default box. Still, Aster Army, this entire anonymous aura that they've brought inside the game, now that's going to be broken. But Coley's position is still quite a good one. Coley on the other side towards Lamp. There's Voya and Hirsch on the opposite. Looking to burst himself out of that position. A really good blind from Kishi, but still Coley is waiting for the confirmation. Another massive flash. And the amount of time that's being burnt over here, it's crazy. Reckoning Esports now. Voya will actually go for the stick eventually. Coley going for the spam, not able to find the connection. And Voya, in the end, he steals it back for his team.
Voya, once again, the beacon of consistency for his team. And he recovers the op as well. You can tell how happy they are. Reckoning Esports just avoided a massive economic crisis. But I must say, some of these mid-round plays towards U-Haul were a bit skeptical, you know? I was so scared about Voya at one point. Then again, I was also happy with what Coley was able to do at that given moment. I felt like having the U-Haul control will be the end-all, do-all for Aster Army, but that just simply wasn't the case.
And considering Reckoning Esports' lineup does not even have Raze, that's sort of, when you look at this lineup, you think that, okay, this is an invitation for a loss. But then the way Reckoning Esports plays it, you think, okay, maybe they've got something new cooking up, and I'm loving it. I would like to watch them on this exact same lineup, but what is that, Judge? The range in that gun sometimes just makes me question. Why is it even in the game?
Yeah. You either question your own sanity or you question why it's in the game. Well, 2v3. Maduka's got not only the big gun Judge, but also his showstopper. I don't think he's going to use it this round. But Twist is trying to lay down some smoke, and this could be dangerous.
There's no way.
Jump directly into the cove.
Dude, this gun is... it's crazy how good it is, dude. But, yeah.
But because he's used it now, Reckoning also are going to pull it off. I'm pretty sure they will also start griefing them with this Judge now.
The tactical timeout, though, instantly pulled out. I guess, yeah, this timeout is actually being able to pull out because they need to figure out a way to counter this entire Judge push that's being made over here, because it's completely on the back of Aduka's play that he made single-handedly. So I think this timeout has to be called to make sure if this push happens once again, how do you exactly counter it?
You ever try to read what's written in their notebooks by just like squinting your eyes really, really hard?
I mean, if we were on the venue itself, then we would have, I guess, a clearer feed, right? Our feed that we get, it's not too clear, unfortunately for us. So it's tough, man. But as I said, even in Split 1, man, if you remember, I'm always someone who keeps on wondering what's written in there, bro. And look at Reckoning Esports' coach. He does not even have a book. He does not need it. He's the Batman, bro.
He's the Batman. He's got it all stored up in his utility belt.
He can just call Jarvis. No, not Jarvis. Alfred.
You're changing cinematic universes, bro.
Listen. It's in the, what do you say? Ultimate Universe? No, what do you call it, man?
No.
I forgot.
Marvel DC never merge. Batman has Alfred. That's it.
In at least some universe, that might be the case, you know?
Maybe you
Batman
can make one.
and Iron Man are good friends because they're super rich, but we can talk about that later. That's a good storyline, but Flabin is going to kick things off with a good sheriff headshot on his opponent, but Aduka, instead, he returns it back. A good return kill from Aster Army, but still, for Reckoning Esports, considering how things have been looking like for them when it comes to the economy, it's a good start.
And Aduka says, nah, dare you use a judge against me? No way, bro. He's the original judge wielder. The master of that weapon. The art of execution is something that only he knows. The Trailblazer also doesn't see anything, so it might just give Reckoning a false sense of security. But Aster Army are making quite a lot of noise, so this is gonna leave Voya quite alone over here. He better hold on to Hookah by himself because there's no way he can stop a long push. Oh, never mind! Aduka, he was challenged by Deadly. I really thought that Deadly wouldn't challenge him. I thought they would wait for Voya's contact, but no, they're all giving Aduka all these frags, and Aster Army are just getting away with absolutely everything. This is cold-blooded murder.
This man is single-handedly able to change the tide in his team's favor. I thought even if he challenged that fight, he should have just right-clicked there. He could have had a better chance of killing him. Because most of the part, his aim was actually on the opponent. Now that Hirsch is looking to burst inside with a good flash. He also finds the kill, backs off, and now has also retrieved a Vandal in his hands. A really good job! What was that shoot through the pits? And Reckoning Esports! Oh boy, the Sixth Sense onto that man, Hirsch. You do not expect plays like that, but well, I mean, I'm speechless. Honestly, I'm speechless.
So am I, honestly. Like, this round doesn't make sense. There's no way, there's no world where Reckoning should have been able to win this one. I mean, sure, Voya had just done one good thing, and that was get the kill onto Hookah. But then, all that advantage was lost the moment Deadly and Voya died. And then guess what happens? Flabin takes his sweet time to go all the way around Hookah, which kind of leaves Hirsch by himself alone. And on paper, that's a bad play. Entering a Viper's Pit by yourself, no trade potential, but somehow you end up getting all those kills. It doesn't make sense. Like, tactically, Aster Army did nothing wrong. But then again, sometimes tactics aren't alone enough. And Reckoning rely on heroics quite often. And this time, Deadly's the one wearing the cape. Instantly kills Kishi.
Is back with the operator. The op criminal. You can call him. He's been a massive win condition for Reckoning Esports. In the previous map, he was not able to activate himself, and still Reckoning, they were able to win that map, so I can already imagine if Deadly 10 wakes up this monster, he would probably name the game on his team's favor. And Duka once again looking to flip things around with his judge, but this time it does not work out. Flabin's quite sharp and his crosshairs are trained, but Aster Army, they return back with two of their own. Nicely done. 2 kills found. Deadly 10 looking to fade away, but he's not going to be able to do so. While he tried to do so, goalie peeks out with the perfect timing, and now it's a 2-on-3. Man advantage against the players of Reckoning Esports, and Aster Army going for quite an off-plant. So Reckoning Esports now, they will really need to look back into their strat books and play this post-plant.
And Reckoning have done much better stuff with burst weaponry, so this definitely not a problem. The first line of action, though, has to be to eliminate the crossfires. Marzel's deliberately fighting across this green box, hoping to give his position away, but his teammates will have to somehow save him. I'm surprised none of those bullets connect with the wall bang, and Marzel continues to stay alive. And as soon as Hirsch drops down to the floor, he will drop dead. Voya just has to get away with the op. That's all he can ask for in a situation like this.
Well, yeah, as I said, sometimes you just gotta respect the opponents, and that's what Voya did. But at least he saved the operator for Deadly. He knows how deadly this op can be if he's able to find that sweet success with it. So yeah, he's able to flee away too with the op. Once again, he should be back But yeah, if we do take a look at this replay, this first initial pick from Deadly was quite a crucial one. But still, considering how Aster Army were able to pull things back into their favor, especially from that entire bathroom push that they made, it's incredible. I guess this time, maybe now the operator should be positioned all the way to the bathroom. And then you can try to be a little aggressive.
Instead, they give Deadly the op, and it's going to be positioned towards B long, which
Better.
also isn't that bad, you know. It's probably one of the best places to have the op present, but not when Deadly's missing shots like that. He's still holding the shallower angle.
Wow.
Ooh, takes a lot of damage, but at least he gets a Duka with the wall bang. And Hirsch can always heal him back up to full health.
Well, I guess another lifeline given away to Deadly. Once again, looking to be quite a massive criminal. But Aster Army looking to put him behind the bars. The entire hookah area is clear. And Kishi, he sort of cleared it out roughly. So still, the players of Aster Army don't exactly have the confirmation about the hookah region, but eventually they're going to clear it out. Aster Army still, they need to rethink on what exactly they need to do, because they've lost out on their duelist, someone who can create so much space in little amount of time.
So now, instead of creating space, they will try to take it away by using deception. They have Doxer moving in with his own toxin screen, hoping to get into U-Hall, while the rest of his teammates are about to burst out of hookah. I'm assuming he's just going to make sure that nobody from Reckoning can teleport via that area and keep his back safe. And now the assault begins. Aster Army dive into the site. They've taken all the kills they require. Did that Molly just bounce off of the cyber cage?
Yeah, what?
I think it bounced off the wall. We just probably didn't see it go all the way in. Although,
no,
that's
it
not
bounced
the
off the
problem.
cipher cage.
Anyway, there are bigger problems that Aster Army have to deal with. And one of the problems is that Goalie's about to get double peeked. They both swing out of the water at the same time, and it leaves Doxer by himself. And they knew where Doxer is. They heard that late teleport come inside. Wait, never mind. The orbital strike miscommitted kinda tells you that they had no idea. And now Doxer has to make it work. He makes it look easy.
That was close.
Too easy for
I
this
thought they
man,
knew.
but I think so we need to talk about that Molly bouncing off the cyber cage.
Oh, did it? Did it bounce off the cage, or did it?
It did.
bust?
No, there's no way. The wall is flat. So for Molly to bounce back once again, it's next to impossible considering it's been thrown from the same direction. So even if the Molly did touch the wall, it should have went on the right side instead of going on the left side. But he threw the Molly from the left, and the Molly bounced back to the left side. So yeah, this is not something. This is quite interesting, I guess. Sometimes the game can challenge physics. But
Right, please explain.
talk about that, and already we've got the opening blood. It's in the name of Coley. Once again, Aster Army, they've lost out on their first men, but good job from the side of Reckoning Esports. They've instantly forced themselves all the way towards bathroom, so at least they've got half of the side control.
Oh my god, and here comes the rest of the control. Aduka easily giving them the kill, but at least Hoya is able to trade him and dismiss back to safety. This allows him to reunite with Flabin, but Aster Army are already bailing out of this situation, and once again they leave Doxer behind as the lurker. He's supposed to be the guy who shoots Reckoning in the back as they try to pursue the aggressors, as they try to pursue them on the B site. Twist hasn't been spotted by the camera, but Doxer finally strikes the lurkers out of commission, and Marzel puts Twist out of commission. Back to a 2v2. There are fights taken all over the place, and Marzel says, nope, I am the one in control. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Hoya, he kills the spike carrier. Oh no. Marzel worked so hard to clear a path for his teammate into the site, but now all of that has been put to waste. Hoya can also afford to hide. There's very little time left, but instead he's going to choose to stay here and fight.
He missed that shot, unfortunately, and Marzel's not going to be the one to miss his this time. Aster Army, they somehow pull it back, but still, you cannot keep on relying on heroics of just that one single player. Marzel, I mean, still remember when in the previous round, when they tried to do the same thing, Marzel burst out of bathrooms, and he got those 2 kills. So far, Marzel's proven out to be one of the most key players for Aster Army. That is sort of a good thing, but way too close for comfort that round is, and Vandalik clearly knows too. Even though they won that, they shouldn't have sort of won that round because Reckoning Esports did all the things right.
That's true. Asterami's plan to hit the A side first, jump into the B via teleporters and leave Doxer behind is a decent enough plan, but it's gonna get discovered at some point, so you can't afford to repeat that again and again. Well, now they've lost their main initiator. I call him initiator because he obviously has been diving so deep inside and kickstarting the play. Aduka's more or less the guy who just advances forward. He's the tip of the spear. And without that, Asterami looked blunt. Creeping up towards B now. The Trailblazer will most likely detect where Marzel is. The rest of his teammates also will follow suit soon. And it's not like Revenant Esports are having trouble holding on to the side. They respect the orbital strike, but Harsh pushes out of B long instead of falling back. Voya dives deep inside, straight through the smoke. He can afford to do so because he's the goddamn Raider, and he says, you better be prepared to fight me because I'm going to swing you at the most inopportune moment.
Flawless defense from Revenant Esports so far in this round. Doxer's managed to position himself quite deep in the site, but still he cannot keep on going deeper, because he's sort of being just stopped in his tracks. Kishi, way too low for comfort. Just a sliver of health available onto this player. Good Seekers, though. It's going to reveal a lot of players' informations and the intentions at the same time. 2-on-4, it is doable, but not anymore, considering Kishi's got way too low of an HP. Nicely done, Revenant Esports. All I'm going to say is that's a flawless defense onto the B side. Completely just barricading it over. Even if anyone trespasses through, they're just going to get mowed down and melted.
Exactly, and it's not like the kind of barricade where you just hold on to it with brute force. Nope, it's a very fluid one. It lets you in for a moment only to reveal the traps inside, only to reveal the trickery that lies beneath the surface. And some of that trickery just happens to be the coordination between Voya and Harsh. As soon as that orbital strike's committed, normal people would just try to regroup with their team and give up the site, hopefully play for retake, but not Harsh. He pushes deeper in towards B long, ends up getting that kill, and then Revenant Esports have so much leverage. Aster have to check their backs as they try to enter the site. And while they're distracted while dealing with Harsh, Voya jumps out of the smoke via CT and he strikes. This back and forth tandem keeps it very engaging. And once again, Voya starts things off on the right note.
Oh no, Asterami is just not able to deal with the initial couple of waves that are being thrown up by the players of Revenant Esports against Aster. And Voya too, taking a sweet time, but the operator from Deadly strikes once again. It's the magical stick that's just working in his team's favor. And now Revenant Esports, they're looking to put a full stop. The way Marshall was able to breach in all the way to the back lines. And he's still going to keep on pressing up against him. Smoke as well to deceive him, but Deadly 10 is ready. He knows that someone's going to push out of that smoke. Marshall not able to catch this man off guard this time. A 2-on-4, it seems next to impossible and highly unlikely to be pulled off, considering the opponents don't even have to better off the weaponry. A Bulldog and a Spectre. But in the close quarters, they can't prove out to be quite a deadly once. Coley gets the first one. A 3-on-2 scenario. Revenant Esports, now this is quite a losable 1-2. But Kishi reveals his position with that shot. But Shorty in the close will always reign supreme.
Revenant Esports have so many backup plans over here. And Asterami once again fall into the same trap, having to check their backlines as they are trying to execute on the front. In the previous round, this happened when they jumped out of hookah and had to fight Harsh towards B long. This time it happens as they are trying to execute out of a shot and they still have to deal with Flabin and Bath. Of course, the fact that they're fake towards hookah not working just makes things so much more harder for them. But even after they deal with all of that, even after they're repelled away from hookah and they try to make an entry back into its DA site, they still have to deal with a similar kind of a situation. Can't afford to keep giving away opportunities to Revenant Esports like this more and more. This is just going to make them focus towards the extremities of the map even more than normal. And this time, the push from Asterami seems pretty one-dimensional. Aduka barging in. Now that's what I call a stoic entry. And just like that, he clears a path for his teammates and they lock this area down with the Viper Spit.
He's been able to do that almost all the time whenever he's alive for a side take. He's able to get so much done within so much small amount of time, so much map control already. And now they also know that there's a judge available. But Voya this time, he pulls out the shorty and he comes out on top. Nicely done. Revenant Esports able to boil it down to a 4-on-4 scenario. They've also got the Vandals up, and for the players of Aster, they need to strike back. This Viper's Pit is really working in their favor, but then there's another Empress being popped from the opponents, but it's still not going to matter. Marzil puts that bullet and nails him down to the ground. Aster Army, another round, and now the first half once again ends 6-6. Way too close to comfort this match as well. The similar playstyle being showed from the opponents. But for them, for Aster Army, this is sort of a saving grace that they were even able to make it this close. I'm not gonna lie, Revenant Esports have been looking so good in the first half so far.
They always look good in the first half. Even in the previous match, we saw a scoreline of 6-all. This kind of tells you that the first half always will be somewhat competitive, but the second half is when the trouble begins. When Reckoning get onto the attacking side, that's when they can really make or break the play. Will they actually finish it off in 2 games, or will Aster Army come up and push us into map number 3? We'll find out on the other side of this break, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go anywhere.
Hit for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you wanna game.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again after that short break that we had. But as we know, the first half has been 6-6 so far. Once again, the similar type of starting that we saw on the previous map too. But now, as you mentioned, Revenant Esports will be on the opposite side. That means on the offense. Things can be a little difficult for Reckoning considering their offense hasn't been looking that strong. But we never know. Maybe they've got something prepared up. But definitely one thing is for sure. This agent select that they've got, this agent select offers them so much when it comes to the offense. So let's see how they're able to play it out.
Exactly right. The double duelist allows you to get so much control, especially when you have the flexibility of the harbor and the Molotovs that Chris brings to the table. Oh, but Aster Army also have some cool trap plays of their own. Instant jump out from the TPs. They try to crunch into its jaws, and Reckoning respond by taking B side. They know that since 2 people have exited this site, this has to be weaker. But they extend further, straight into the waiting arms of Doxer. And guess what? They check onto Marzil, but not before he takes 1. Still a 3v3, still doable for Reckoning.
Indeed it is, and considering they've also got the map control, now they're also going to have the angles advantage. You also need to consider that, but there's a flank coming in from the back lines, and Kishi, this is quite a late flank from this man. Might just be able to breathe the Grim Reaper and rip apart Hirsch into these close quarters, and Hirsch does not spot him, so that's quite unfortunate. Unfortunately, Hirsch will be taken care of. Aster Army, good start for this retake so far. Woya knows that there's someone inside hookah, but he still needs to take care of the man in the back lines first. Flabin, that's really good crossfire setup so far, and Reckoning Esports able to swing things back into their favor. Doxer, not a lot of HP, only 70 HP left over, and this double swing from Reckoning should seal the deal.
Yeah. And you notice the crossfire between Flabin and this guy, it also wasn't super strong, right? So they basically just had to win out their own duels. Voya wins the duel to at CT, and this guy wins the duel upon elbow. That leaves just one man left to do it all. And yeah, I mean, Kishi did no wrong over here. He played it to perfection. But what can he possibly do when he has his head taken off the moment his feet land on the ground? A 2v3 clutch comes through from Revenant Esports.
Wow. I mean, they know how important it is too. Vandalic clearly knows how important that pistol round was for his team's mental. And you can see him just regretting that his team lost that one, shorty. That could have been way too close, man. But still, Marzul misses his shot, and he will pay the price for it. Kohli's still able to get one in return, but that's all he's going to be able to find so far. And now it's all down to Aduka. Too much to expect from a single man with only shorty in the hand, but it's still Aduka, the shotgun master himself inside South Asia.
Nobody from Aster is nobody from Reckoning is gonna face him over here. So what can the shorty even do? All the patience in the world is not gonna pay off. There's nobody coming for you. There's nobody walking in towards your crosshair. Can't close the distance. Can't have any hope. Never mind, Harsh might just do it.
Oh, nice.
He still backs away the moment he hears the first shot.
And that too, like, that was the first one onto the head, so Aduka just got surprised. And you can also call it bad timing for Aduka, to be honest. He looked back and Hirsch peeked out at the same time, so yeah, just
but then again,
for that man.
okay, so in that moment, yeah, that was a bad timing moment from Harsh as well in the previous round, you know. Harsh was peacefully guarding Hookah, and he was partially aware about the flank coming in, but nope, Kishi still got the timing on him, still got the jump. So everyone has their bad instance of luck. Question is, how can you bounce back from it? This time Reckoning aren't exactly bouncing back from anything, but they're just diving straight into Hookah. Nobody coming in from long. This could be a concern because Kishi won't be cleared out, and he peeks out on the back of the splash, just as expected. He also has the potential to deal with Flabin because a 1v1 is being offered over here, but no, he thinks he was safe, and Flabin peeks out at the worst possible time. Aduka though, blowing everyone apart. That paint shell turned into a thermonuclear warhead.
Well, I guess Aduka, once again being the saving grace for his team. Aster Army, they spring back to life for that one single paint shell that was being utilized from Aduka. But I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like that could have been the Revenant Esports' round, but unfortunately, when they try to press things a little bit too hard against Aster, it sort of didn't work out. But still, it's Flabin able to isolate one of those duels, and now it's a 2-on-1. Flabin can definitely make this happen, but this Smokes is going to be making things a little bit more difficult for him.
30 seconds
Something needs
left.
to be done. And luckily enough for him is also the Harbor, so he's going to be able to isolate the duels, but not good enough to win that fight.
I just don't see it. The point of pushing in all the way towards defender spawn.
Yeah.
You had control of sight. Yes, I can understand you don't want to fight towards elbow or towards long because you're all jumping out of hookah and you're aware that Kishi's present in that region. So if that's the reason you want to avoid that defender spawn push, understandable. But if there's any other reason than that, then it doesn't really make sense. Surprising your opponents can be a good reason too, but not when you're lacking weaponry like that.
Did you see that fact? Aduka has 100% win rate with Raze on this map.
Oh well.
So yeah, I guess if they lose this one out, it will be the first time that Aduka will lose on the map of Bind with Raze. Considering now they've also utilized Reckoning, so Aster Army would really need to respect the opponent's util and need to fall back, but still somehow Aster Army is able to bounce back and get killed. And once again, it's the problem that Reckoning Esports are just straight up try peeking everything they want to. And the problem continues for them. Flabin way too softened up with only 23 HP. He needs to go for a save. No other option available. For Aster Army, they've managed to equalize the scoreline.
These fast-paced executes from Reckoning do seem kind of reckless at times. I mean, they don't do enough to sell the fake elsewhere. They don't do enough to gather information. They're just hoping that their brute force executes are going to work out all the time. Which isn't exactly a bad thing to rely on. When you know you've got decent enough weaponry, when you know that your executes hit hard, I can understand that you try to go for an approach like this. But in order for it to work, you need to lay down smokes appropriately. Your flashes need to go in
30
at that
seconds left.
exact area. You can't exactly hope to just barge into a site, get all the kills, and that's it. But the fights were also quite spread out. You started off with a pick towards hookah. Good enough. But then you have to go towards A, where the rest of Aster army are Aster army are waiting.
10 seconds left.
Not a lot of time left to. Yeah, so Flavin's just going to go for the save. As I said, he's got no other option left over too, and is also going to cover himself completely with the ball. So I guess, yeah, saves down from Revenant Esports, but I guess even though they lost that round, it's still not really mattering them quite a lot, considering they're not struggling that much when it comes to the economical side of the game. They can still go for a little bit of force spy, but if they do lose out this round, then definitely they will start to struggle.
Keeping momentum is also quite important, especially in a map like Blind. Because sure, you can win rounds, but you have to win them while keeping most of your members alive. That's when you know your economy is starting to snowball out of control, and you start stacking that money up. If you have to reinvest again and again, you're always gonna be in economic crunch. And especially in a map like Blind, where when your opponents have a good chance of thrifting you, it becomes even more dangerous. This is like one of those maps where if all the members of a team buy just shotguns, just get those cheap shorties, it will still work for you. One of the only maps where it will work. And Aduka has already proven that he's not afraid of getting down and dirty. He's not afraid of picking up the judge. So, yeah, what's going to happen when even the rest of his teammates start doing that stuff? Certainly a food for thought. Although reckoning they do have to make some compromises. Let go of full shields, pick up half armor. This actually is the perfect time to pick up half armor. When your opponents have all the phantoms and vandals in the world, it doesn't matter whether you have full armor or not.
Yeah.
When they have specters, that's when it can really make or break the round.
And Marzel also with the neural thrift, so that can be something that will reveal a lot of intentions of the opponents if used at the right timing only. Reina's popped the Empress. Voya now is going to look to just press the W key straight up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen straight up on the B side, but unfortunately, because of the trap wire, he's going to be held back, but it's still not going to matter. They've already got the site control established and quite nicely done too.
And this is such a cool fake. One high tide, one flash, that's all that's required. And almost the entirety of Aster army just rotates towards A on the back of that. And we already know that Revenant Esports have a very good post-plan setup when it comes to these situations. These crossfires can be deadly regardless of the map. So now the clock is ticking for Aster army. They have their work cut out for them. But can they cut through this high tide? It's about to go down in the next 5 seconds. But they want to peek ahead because they want to peek ahead before it goes down. They use the flashes. It doesn't really help, and Boya is just swinging in and out of these smokes. He's being an annoying pest to deal with. Marzel finally comes through from behind. He gets the better of Harsh, but there's no saving. There is no grace.
Wow, Revenant Esports. What a quick adjustment, dude. Straight up big brain plays from them. I saw on the minimap too, Triss just rotating from the long all the way to hookah because he knew that there was a massive flank coming in too, and then he single-handedly deals with both of them.
There has always been a flank coming from there.
Yeah, this is just brilliant though, for them to even think this well inside of such a pressure situation when the opponent team is just straight up bombarding the site with all the utilities they have. They're just pouring everything that they've got on the board and still being able to come up with such a clean plan. It indeed is quite incredible. And especially you gotta just give this man so many props. Woya, he's able to get kills and then just dismiss away with the Reina. He's utilizing Reina to its fullest potential.
Exactly. And that fullest potential is not to get kills or gather space, it is to imbibe chaos. He's sowing the seeds of chaos all the way through. You speak his name once again and he delivers, this time getting rid of Marzel.
A really good crouch peek from that man. Throws off Marzel's aim completely, and now Revenant Esports once again. Such an easy site take. Aduka inside the entire U-Haul area. Looking to strike someone down, but now is also going to pop the showstopper. He does find one, but he also gets traded out by the same person. 4 on 3. and now make it down to a 2-on-4. Unfortunate stuff for the opponents. Aster Army, things are slipping away from their hands, but they can be calibrated back once again if Goalie's able to get this one, and he actually does. That's a really good one. But considering Dr. only's got a Bucky in a hand, he will also be able to strike down Hirsch in the close quarters. Now it seems like they've also started to bring this back.
Yeah, but there's a molly that Kohli has used. The lineup works out for him. And he's also got the orbital... sorry, not Kohli. It was a molly that Trist had used. And Trist also has an orbital strike available. So Aster Army know that they can't have this round. They might as well just save now while they can. They can't even save. I really thought Flaben would see him. Thought Flaben would shoot him down, but hey, as long as you die to the spike instead of giving up your life to an opponent, it's fine.
But he could have also go for the save anyways, if he wanted to. He had a Vandal in the hand. I guess he did not expect that he's going to die in that spot. That's the only way, I guess, that justifies what he did. But as soon as he got that kill, I guess he should have just fell back.
I'm not going to think too much about the last little death over there. The bigger problems over here for Aster Army is that now Reckoning Esports are starting to make those fast plays. Up until now, they had some semblance of faking. And again, the problem over there was Aster Army fall for it way too soon, but oh my god, this is so much chaos! There's Blades, Seekers, Hellfire, all of that at the same time, and 1,000 bullets flying all over, but Aduka runs out of bullets at the worst possible time. At least he escapes within an inch of his life, but the rest of his teammates, they can't do anything. Doxa gets traded out, Kohli tries to make that play, but Trist is just a bit too aware. And just like that, Reckoning get the lead once again. Boya's marking the angle. He knows where Marzel is, but this time the same crouch peek won't work. Marzel superior on the approach. But both Aduka and Marzel are bleeding internally. They've lost most of their HP. What's going to happen, Necro?
Well, I guess Marzel's just going to peek this one out, dry peek it, and he gets dealt with too. Last one. That's going to be in the name of Aduka. He needs to deal with both the players in the front. He gives away position. Only 4 HP left over. The paint shell's going to be perfect. Catches a little bit of hurt onto the opponent. Flaben falls back to safety. But Aduka, considering he's only got 4 HP, he's also finding a lot of demons in his head. And Flaben is not willing to give a straight-up duel to his opponent. Makes a lot of sense. All it's going to take is that one single bullet to his dome to seal. And Flaben also wins that clutch scenario. Nicely done. Reckoning Esports, another round on the board. Now it seems like they're just able to storm through the opponent's defense. And Aster Army are not able to find a single reply.
Sheesh, I mean, that was so calculated from Reckoning Esports. Harsh sends the Seekers through. In order to avoid the Seekers, all the early aggression from Aster Army just came to an end. They started to fall back. And the moment they decide to fall back, there's an orbital strike in the way. So they're doomed if they stay there. They're doomed if they don't. Aduka finally found a corner for himself, you know, on the edge of that smoke. He thought that maybe they won't check that immediate corner outside. And it's correct. They didn't check him. But he ran out of bullets. He could have changed the tide of the round over there, but instead had to settle for an escape. And in the process of doing so, he left his teammates alone over there.
11-8, ladies and gentlemen, already on the double digits, and so close for the map point to Reckoning Esports. They're looking to make it a 2-0, and for Aster Army now, their heartbeats are gonna start a beat faster than ever before. Probably they're gonna feel the fear of getting kicked out of this tournament. And they do not want to get kicked out too. You can clearly see the problems. You can clearly see the pressure just building up on the face of their coach, Vandalik. And now Voya, he's also got his hands on this ultimate Empress. Whenever Voya's got his hands on the Empress, we know it's going to be a W key strategy once again coming up, brewing up, and that's what it seems like. And both the duelists actually are on the A side. I guess their job is to find a pick on the A, and then the rest of the 3 players will maybe try to make a way on the opposite side. A little fake. That's Reckoning Esports is trying to brew up. Deadly 10 gets the first contact, dashes away back to safety. Marzel does not want to press at all. Instead, he will fall back himself. Nicely done. He's not too out of discipline just yet.
But the fact that Aster Army feel compelled to make that kind of a play tells you how desperate they are right now. He pulls the trapfire away at the worst time possible. He could have almost died over there. But Voya, he's just going to be happy to make his escape. The trapfire repositioned. Can he escape? No, he can't. Even Flaben can't protect him. The Empress is dead. There's a new queen that's taking the crown now, and it might just be Aster Army's duelist Aduka. Oh, jumps up, almost could have lost his head over there, but look at the follow-up! Coley tries to finish what Aduka started, but Deadly is just not having it.
Quick flick onto that man, and now we'll also get another lifeline. Overgrowth used. Deadly 10 back to full HP once again.
30 seconds left.
And Flabin looking to complete what Voya started. Still looking to breach inside the bathrooms area. And Marshall, all he needs is that one single kill to get the neural theft available too. And that can be massive ultimate in times like these. Desperate times require desperate measures. And that's what Reckoning Esports do. They flush out, they flood themselves out of that same spot once again. And Aster Army, they've lost out the A control completely. Doxer on the flank angle inside the bathrooms area with the judge in the hand. He's looking to decimate all the opponents that stand against him. So far, Aster Army's players' positions aren't compromised, and Marzo, having that anonymous aura with himself, is also able to strike one player down in the front. And Reckoning Esports, they've lost the spike control. Tap goes out. Reckoning Esports quite desperate and adamant to get the spike control back in their hands. And that's what they're here to fight. The spike control. The spike is being stuck with the defuse, and Marshall seals the deal.
Sheesh. What a round from Aster Army. So chaotic. I love it. Wipe a spit to its B, basically locking them out of that area, forcing Reckoning's hand to go to its A. And look at all the early aggression from Marzel. As soon as he figures out where the majority of the team is, he falls back. And yes, Reckoning Esports were able to waltz their way out of Bath. They were able to get control as well. But because Marcel continued to stay towards that under heaven position, it gave away so much information. All the footsteps that Marcel was hearing was relayed to his teammates in form of information. And that's also why Doxer was so confident pushing up towards Bathroom once again. He knew there's going to be no follow-up. What am I
really good?
What am I even looking at here? What is this?
That's a question now. With that, I'm trying to wonder too. But look at Reckoning Esports, the last second teleport to the B site. But Coley, it seems like his crosshairs is trained and he's inside the smoke too. It's going to have such a big striking point. He strikes only one though. Quite an unfortunate affair. We thought he's going to be able to last so longer against his opponent, but that's not the case. Now it's a 2-on-3. Marzel once again with quite a long flank, and he gets dealt with two. Drist is way too aware of the fact that Marzel will try to flank. And now Flabber with the shorty in the close will seal the deal. 12 rounds, ladies and gentlemen, in the hands of Reckoning Esports. They're on the map point and also on the verge of kicking Aster Army out of this tournament.
Chaos to fight with chaos, fire to fight with fire, and whatever the hell this was supposed to be. Both these duelists is jumping up and down, trying to dodge the trap fires, but then he somehow got a kill with the boom bot, and that's when I just truly lost my mind. But then again, I love the adjustment from Reckoning Esports. The rotations from Aster Army were already inbound towards the A side. They almost thought that Marcel's setup would be enough to stop them, but then they jumped straight into TP. And then again, there was a glimmer of hope with the player under Hookah just holding that area with the Spectre. Could have been a disaster, but Reckoning survived every encounter. And now once again, Deadly dashes inside. Leers to stop this push through, and Kishi once again playing in very cheeky spots. Kohli swings out of the smoke to surprise Reckoning Esports, but they survive everything. 2v3. Aster Army can still make this one work. They just need to deny the plant, and that's exactly what the Pain Shields are about to do. There's no escape avenue left for Reckoning Esports. If they choose to fall back, then it will be Harsh who falls back alone. I don't think Deadly has an opportunity to join him now. At least not without facing any danger. Wait, seriously?
3-on-2.
Aster Army's letting the pressure up. They're actually not fighting them at all. They're giving Reckoning Esports the space to work with, and now poor Kohli's about to have a 1v1. He almost killed them both.
And a Duca to close it off. Aster Army, 10 rounds on the board, and Reckoning Esports, 12. With just one more needed, man. One more, not that far away. And I'm pretty sure Aster Army should be able to do it just about now. I mean, Reckoning Esports should be able to do it just about now. For Aster Army to pull it back, as I said, there's too much pressure to deal with, man.
Hey, at least they dealt with the most high pressure round. They dealt with the eco. And all these stingers and spectre buys, all these cheeky positions underneath Hookah, inside of smokes, swinging out of smokes like madmen without flashes. All of that seems to be working for Aster Army now. Desperate time does call for desperate measures, but how far are you willing to go? That's the bigger question over here.
And I'm pretty sure Reckoning Esports are willing to go pretty far, but this time Deadly Tent's not able to get out. That's the problem when you go too far and cross too many lines. Good Seekers. Gonna give a lot of players his position. Bavoya looking to peek out of the same spot that he's been doing so far, but this time it does not look at the right spot. And Marzul gets a good timing onto the player. 4-on-2 scenario. Reckoning Esports, they have managed to flip the script once in the past. Can they do it once again? Orbital strike in the hands of Trist. All they need to do is get one plant down. And if Trist is able to do so, this can definitely change a lot of things. Last second teleport. And once again, the script's going to be on the B site. Good ball to block off all the way in the back lines, but this is going to be tough to create some sort of space on the site because Doxer, he's got the opportunity to strike both of them down.
Aster in full control at every single moment of the round. As soon as that kill that Deadly was able to get went down towards the A site, they recognized that this is a fake. Aster didn't just held on to their ground. They believed in their crossfires, they believed in whatever they had prepared. And in that 2v4, Aster played it to perfection. Camera to make sure that they don't go for that TP play anymore, and even if they do, crossfire between the guy holding left and towards metal box was perfect. Orbital strike on both the sides, but yeah, Aster are aware about this. That's exactly why nobody's playing towards U-Hall. In fact, they're all playing ahead of the high tide that was just put up by Flabin, and this is going to surprise them unless Deadly has an answer to this one. The showstopper's been popped. Kishi somehow gets the kill onto Deadly, but Aduka is yet to let go of his massive rocket, and Reckoning are nowhere to be found. They've already fallen back. The only person who continues to stay ahead is going to be Harsh, and he has been undiscovered so far. Can he make the miracle happen? No, he can't. Aduka's too sharp.
Indeed he is. And now it's Voya once again just striking back, and he's not going to stop at all. A 3K manages to even things out when it comes to the man advantage, and now Kohli as well. A really good Molotov to force both the players back in the line. Voya and Flabin, both the players are looking really healthy. And Reckoning Esports, this last minute's rotation all the way back to the B side is definitely going to be able to catch the opponents off guard. But maybe
that's okay.
For Aster Army, they will need to at least send one player back to the B side for the confirmation. But just make sure he's not committing to the fight at all. Boya so far has also managed to taste a lot of blood. Position given away. Now they know that the B side take's coming in. The spike will already be planted by the time Aster Army is going to get there. The problems might just start to knock the doors. Both the tripwires being activated. Reckoning Esports. Not a lot of time left over, but still the spike's going to go down. A good tag on to Voya. Position compromised.
Yeah. Hey, but that's a good thing. At least they killed the camera. So now they still have the opportunity to reposition. But they're all playing by themselves. This is not tradable. Flabin, all by himself, should be able to deal with this close-range quarter battle because of the Spectre. And Marzul, as he tries to cross over, he can get shot down by Warrior! They bait each other out. Not the perfect crossfire, but the bait and switch setup works perfectly for Reckoning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the winner of the lower bracket finals. Reckoning Esports, they kick Aster Army out of this tournament from the playoffs lower brackets, and they secure their slot in the grand finals of Split 2, a step closer to ascension. What a journey it has been for Reckoning Esports, filled with thick and thorns, but still, inside Split 2, they come back even stronger, and this time they strike even harder. They secure their slot in the grand finals against OG. Indeed, a matchup we all are going to be waiting for eagerly now. But considering Aster Army 2 been able to make it so far, props to them. This new lineup that they've got acquired, it's incredible, and it holds a lot of potential for the future.
Fasten your seatbelts and cover your ears, ladies and gentlemen. The Wolves are rolling into the grand finals. The Wolves will take on the Apes tomorrow as Orangutan awaits this contender. $35,000 and the slot to Ascension is on the line. And you have your contenders, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a word with Reckoning Esports.
Idhar, is taraf. This way. हमने हर्ष से बहुत सारी बातें की हैं, and I'm sure that he's also waiting for all the answers. हर राउंड में खेलना, to be underdogs, lower bracket में धकेला गए, उसके बाद तुम लोग सीधा grand final जा रहे हो. I mean, is this a fairy tale or what?
This is the grind, you know. लोअर ब्रैकेट में गए, उसके बाद से हमने हमारे मिस्टेक्स फिक्स करे, फिर सब टीम्स को हम लोग 12-12 घंटे बैठ के डेमोज वगैरह देखे और बस उसका ही नतीजा है सब।
तुम लोगों ने अपना पहला मैप जो पिक किया वो था लोटस, क्या उसके पीछे कोई सोच थी, एक स्ट्रैटेजी थी? वाज इट बिकॉज एस्टर प्लेड ऑन दैट मैप अगेंस्ट ओजी?
लोटस हमारा लाइक बेस्ट ही मैप है, तो हम उसके हिसाब से चले।
वोया, अब वोया को शुरुआत में हमने जिस तरीके से देखा है, अब ऐसा लग रहा है कि तुमने खुला छोड़ दिया उसको और कोई प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं था, कोई टीम प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं थी। क्या ये एक बहुत ही सोची समझी बात थी?
हम लोग ने ये कॉम्प लाइक पेपर एक से इंस्पायर्ड होके खेला था। लाइक हमको मालूम है वो या बहुत इंसेन नेमर है और उसका दिमाग भी इंसेन है, तो हमने उसको बस रेना दे दिया और रेना पे उसने बहुत अच्छा खेला। लाइक वही प्लान था।
राइट, ओके, ये डेडली की बात हुई। हर्ष यहाँ पे हमारे साथ है और ये एक आखिरी सवाल जो है वो हर्ष से पूछना है। बडी, आर यू रेडी फॉर योर डिजर्ट इन द ग्रैंड फाइनल?
ऑब्वियसली हम लोग 2 बार हारे, लेकिन अभी हम लोग का टाइम है, हम लोग को कुछ भी करके रिवेंज लेना है एंड हम लोग का 200% डालेंगे कल।
Flavin, show us your moves again. Show us your boxing moves, what you would do. Well, obviously, it is all about the celebration for Reckoning to be thrown into the lower bracket and then to make it to the grand finale, but they're going to take on fan favorites, Orangutan. Wow, what a matchup we have on their hands. We're taking a break and we'll be back shortly.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 C's. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong.